I actually
What's
got a
up?
new number, so I don't know. I just had to
Oh
set it
yeah,
back up
yeah. They
again.
made you do a new one. Yep, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So
Nice.
that's all.
Welcome, welcome.
How are you, sir? Been a
Good
while.
man. How about you?
Yeah, yeah, doing well.
That's
Keeping
awesome.
up.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's been crazy for you guys. Congratulations on all the huge success you guys been having with the comics and everything going on. It's been awesome to watch.
Yeah, yeah. It's been exciting.
Yeah,
Which
no doubt.
is great. Great to get to this
There
part.
we are, the man of the hour.
Yay!
We might even keep an eye out for David Yu. He may drop in later at some point.
Oh, wonderful. Very cool. So let's see where we're at. We're pinging some people. The room's filling up nicely. It's good to see everybody. These are some of my favorite rooms, and this is the second one of these we've done for Frank Kozik, so that's super exciting. The first drop, I always say, was one of the most successful I've seen for VeVe. The retail on, if you bought all 6 of the original Labbits at retail, the price was $190. And as of about a half hour ago, the total in the market, if you want to buy all 6, is $5,300.
That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't it? So
Yeah.
this drop tomorrow is going to be. I mean, if you guys remember, the first one, the Commons, took about 24 hours to go out, and then they blew up. So this one, I assume, is all going to go because people know how popular this stuff is now.
Yep. And who doesn't want a Labacorn?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
I
for
can't
sure.
wait.
I did see Frank posted something not long ago about the rainbow possibly being animated. We may have to put that question to him, actually.
Oh, it's funny because after Frank tweeted about the unicorn, my Twitter asked me if the subject matter was food and whether I still can't work out, but yeah.
Maybe.
The number one question people wanted to ask Frank, they wanted to know about if he was going to have animation.
Now it's what does the animation do?
Yeah, that's it. All right, I might just post a couple more little announcements.
So very cool. We have a nice distinguished panel up on stage here. A lot of people from the VeVe collectibles community, people that have been around VeVe for months and months and months, since January, February, March. It's all so exciting to see it all come together. There's another special guest up here, Mitch Putnam from Mondo, who had an amazing drop on VeVe a couple months ago, and you never know when the next one's going to be, so we'll keep our eye out for that. But it's really nice to have him here. And yeah. What's up, Mitch? I saw you on mute. If you want to say hello.
Oh, I was just flashing, but hello.
Yeah,
Good to see everyone. Thanks for having me. Excited to celebrate Frank's second drop.
Absolutely.
Ooh, David's here.
With you. Oh, the big man.
Hi guys, how are you? Hope you're well.
Good.
Really well.
Hi, David.
For the morning
Hi,
for
David.
me, I'll tell you.
Was it? Tell us
Yeah.
all about it in fine detail.
Well, the drop obviously is in New Zealand time. It's probably one of the worst time ever. And I'll tell you, I got 5G internet, and I missed out the comic drop a couple of days ago. A friend of mine told me that he actually think the Wi-Fi doesn't work. You need to be on the mobile broadband. So I upgraded my broadband, and I missed out both drop this morning. So I think I cried for 5 hours almost. Tried to look at everyone's. Then coming down, I had a good 30-minute basically counseling with him. So yeah.
Yep. Welcome to our lives. This is what it's like every drop day.
Yeah, I at least I got to the booking page, and then it just go, well, you missed out. So yeah, have we got Frank on?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm right here. What's up, guys?
Oh, hey Frank. There we go.
Thank you so much
How
for
are
coming
you?
to my room. I'm good. I'm just actually finishing up a few surprises that I'll be dropping on OpenSea during our room. A few one-of-ones to of the release of the VeVe Labbits for those of you that want to spend a whole bunch of Ethereum. But
Yeah.
I'm super stoked. Okay, David, so the huge question that everybody's been asking me, I literally have 1,000 messages. What's the deal
Yes.
with the gift, the giveaway?
Oh, yes. Okay, so this is something that we, me and Dan decided, we were picking a promotional item that it's going to be like a secret rare drop. And the giveaway that we have done was a couple months back. Well, it's probably going back about a few more months. There was some booking error in our app system. And basically what happened was, I think some of the users were buying some gems on the Apple, but Apple wasn't collecting the payment correctly. So there was actually a lot of these transactions went through, like a double up on their gems. So some of the account basically got investigated. We had to put a pause on it, or a freeze on it, temporary freeze, until we figured out what happened. And as you know, guys, we are moving into gems cashing out. So users will be able to take out the money that they have put in. And obviously, the biggest issue is when it comes to AML requirement and the treasury management, that there's a pot of gems when disappear because Apple didn't collect the payment for us. And to cut the long story short, we have to decide, a hard decision to go, well, what do we do about it? And we did wind back the clock and deduct some of the wallet holders on basically what they would double up on. And basically this special giveaway, Secret Rare Edition, we're giving away to the account holder that was affected from the error that we made as a gift, a token of gesture on it. So we have decided it's going to be, I think, one of the color version, but the black and white edition of the rare one that we're releasing. Yeah, so we think a lot of the fans out there will, enjoy the free gift. For those of you, and there's hundreds of thousands of accounts was not affected, I guess they just need to try to convince one of their peers to see if they want to trade with you on it to complete the set. Yeah.
It's the only way.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Twitter's going to be red hot as of 10 seconds ago.
It is a very small run of it, even though it seems like a big run for the edition. I think it was about 3,333 we're minting. But you can imagine some of the people getting it is probably they don't collect the Labbit series, possibly. So you guys can try to get it off those people. I think the secondary market for that piece is going to be pretty hot because it will be very sought after. Yeah, because obviously just such a small run still compared to the audience size. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, so Frank, how you been? I know we meant to catch up yesterday, but we had a bit of a crossover with you had to see the Tooth Fairy dentist, eh?
All I got to say, kids, is brush and floss regularly.
Yeah.
Sound advice.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right. And I see we got Mitch on as well. Got quite a few people.
Yeah, we have Mitch.
Yeah, I want to apologize for
We have
yesterday.
Jermaine.
I could not make it. I did have a rather sudden dental situation, but all's well, and I'll run this room for as long as you people can stand it. So here I am, happy to ask anything. If you're into collecting stuff on OpenSea, I will be dropping a few choice one-of-ones throughout the course of the room. And so let's get rolling.
Perfect. Do you guys want to set the room and then we'll start the conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. welcome everybody. It's the VeVe Collectors Chat Clubhouse. It's really great to be here. These are some of our favorite rooms. We've been going since March in this room. Our friend Af started the room, and it's really nice that Reese helps organize these things with us. And some of us have kind of become friends with some of these guys. So as these drops come up, it's really exciting to host these rooms and bring everybody in, bring everybody together. It's really nice to have you guys here from VeVe, Reese, and David. Kozik's here. We see Mitch from Mondo, and Jermaine Rogers is also here, who had another hugely successful drop with VeVe. So it's really good to have this crowd and a lot of the VeVe YouTubers and people from the community. I know there's going to be a lot of questions. Claire is here. It is, 1 a.m. where she is at right now, I believe. So she's a trooper as always.
Dedicated.
Yeah. So that's the room. I don't want to take too much time, Reese. I want to let you guys kind of get into it a little bit. I know I have a couple questions for Frank, but I want to let everybody get moving first and see what's going. Welcome to everybody. It's really exciting time.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. I'll kick things off. I don't have too many questions, but I guess straight for Mr. Kozik. How have you found your VeVe experience since Labbit Series 1 dropped, and did you participate in that drop?
Well, since I kind of get a set, I didn't. So, so I'm taking the lazy man out, but it kind of like everybody else in the world did, so that's cool. I'm super happy, more than I could ever dream of. I've been going back to the app more and more and playing with the Labbits. They look so much better on the app than they do anywhere else on the internet. It's astounding. I think that once people get into the app, they're blown away. I couldn't be more pleased. I'm having a lot of fun with this actually, and I have a million ideas, which I will pester VeVe with continuously, naturally.
Fantastic.
And I'm just people love the Labbit, and with what's going on with the shipping and stuff, it's almost impossible for physical toys to happen right now. Everything is backed up, and so like people have been asking for these guys for a long time, and now they're available digitally, and it's in the web, and it's just beautiful. It's like I'm gonna say like the best thing that ever happened to me. It's got me wanting to draw again. It's got me creating new stuff all the time. I'm having a blast with it. So I would say excellent. It's been excellent.
Yeah, that's some pretty incredible feedback. Was there anything that that has surprised you about this, like whether it's the process or the community or anything like that?
No, the thing is, I know David, and he's been talking about this for a long time, and it's kind of like, they're really doing it. Like, this is not like someday this will be a big deal. Someday this, there's a lot of NFT type projects going on. It's always about like they're sort of laying their chips down today for usability in the future. Well, you guys are already there. You've got usability. You can play with your stuff. You can move it around. You have all the features that you guys have. You're well ahead of the pack, and you don't have to know how to run a nuclear power plant to mess with it like you do on some of these projects. So I think that the fact that your features are already there and getting better constantly, and the ease of access, it makes it not only a great value, but like it's actually fun to mess with, right? So like just and I know there's plans for more of that down the road. So, I'm just freaking out about thinking about all the stuff that might happen next year or 2 years or 3 years down the road as the technology gets better. So it's fucking great, man. What can I say? Thank you.
Yeah, Frank. Yeah, next year is going to be quite exciting. We got a lot of virtual art shows we want to host eventually in VeVeVerse, things like that. We really want to push our boundaries every time. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that we can't disclose yet until when the right time comes. But myself and Daniel, we always, I think we approached you this a few years back already. And I think back then most people just didn't understand what we were talking about. We had so much pushback. So I do appreciate some of these artists like yourself, Ron, really believe in us and giving us a chance.
Dude, I'm on board 1,000%. I mean, I've been
Yeah,
around for
yeah,
a long time, and a lot of people have talked a lot of, palaver and all the way from back in the early days of music streaming on down about internet stuff and games and stuff, and nothing ever really sort of came true. You guys have actually done it. Like, this is actually real, and like, I'm actually not trying to obsess on it too much. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to jinx this, because
yeah.
and I'm seeing, I spend a lot of time in the regular NFT world, and people that were kind of like, what is this weird? And then they get the app, and they're like, Jesus fucking Christ, okay, and they're in. So I'm seeing converts flocking every day. And, what more can anybody want, right? It's going to have a fun collector base. There's a great community. There's a lot of aftermarket action. There's fucking super cool, weird shit, unexpected. It's great, dude. And, the comic books, I don't got to tell you, I don't care how much money you have. If you want, like, Marvel Comics #1, well, you better get ready to go to the Heritage auction with a whole lot of fucking money and pay a 30% surcharge to get your comic that then you're scared to touch or look at. Well, you solved that problem,
Yeah,
it's fucking cool, man.
yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, I was telling someone the other day. They asked me where I put my comic collection. I actually hide them in a box under the table in the cool. In summer, almost have to have the aircon on so they don't get oxidized.
Right.
I don't even let people touch anything in my house anymore. They have to wear gloves. There's just so much around.
That's good. Scrubs at the door.
Tell Dan it's not a chair, it's a piece of artwork. Can you not touch the leather? and Frank, someone emailed me yesterday, and they went on one of your website and they saw the Lebbit. I didn't know Lebbit now makes chairs. So
There's been what we're doing now is I've been making the Labbit stools for a long time, sort of just and lately we've been doing like leather wrapped ones and fabric wrapped ones that are really beautiful. So if anybody's into that, just go to the Kid Robot website, and you can get the big Labbit stools. They're super nice. They're made to order. The quality is super high end. So that is kind of like a premier physical product that is available. And you can sit on them. You can use them as side tables, whatever. They're super sturdy.
Yeah, they are very, very cool. Yeah, I mean, we just been really behind the last couple of months. So I just want our fans to know that artists in our category as a category is extremely important. We want to make sure that we have a great lineup coming up, and we do. We're just being a little bit swamped with the rollout of technology, and just ensuring that some of our brands that we promised back when we got them on board, that we start rolling things out. August has been a huge month, and obviously September was an amazing month. And the beauty about October is it's coming out to our end of season 2. And I think, Reese, is season 2 ending in October 15th or
that
earlier?
is correct. Yeah, the 15th, I think, is the day.
Yeah, so yeah, and I think between now and then, 15, we got quite a bit of surprise drop. And I think for the Ultraman fans out there, I think the Secret Rare is coming out. Or is that the Ultra Rare of Edo? So that will hopefully finish the whole season 2. But definitely, it is very important that we have new artists on board, and we do have a lot coming up. And by the way, for those of you who haven't been following some of our Medium article, I think we recently announced that we will be at DCon. I think we will have a physical presence there, and also we'll be rolling out a few of the DCon exclusive as well. So that's going to be quite exciting. And Frank, you're one of the OG DCon supporter. So yeah,
The very first one, it was literally a dozen tables in a church basement, no lie, or like a rec center or something, back in 2008. And it's turned into the best convention for this kind of stuff in the world, because it's all individual creators, small companies from all over the world. Everybody gathers once a year, and like whether you want to look, buy, whatever, man, you can't go wrong with Comic Con. There's no looky loos, there's no baloney. It's like the pure stuff. It's really amazing, and it's conveniently close to Disneyland. So what else do you want?
Yeah. Are you going to be there this year at DCon?
I'm going back and forth. So the thing is, with COVID, I'm fully vaccinated, but it's Los Angeles, it's Anaheim, it's Orange County. Orange County is really anti-vax. So I probably gonna skip it this year and just be there in full force next year. I just not ready to go to an area with a lot of unvaccinated people. I hate to talk about it, but I'm an older fella, and I got to take care of myself. So probably going to skip it this year.
Okay, understandable.
Which sucks because I really wanted to go. So.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Reese, are you going to be flying in to the show?
I think I will be. Yes, I think
Yes.
Alex and Trevor and potentially Noah will be joining. Alex, is that right?
Hey, dream team in the house.
Dream team, indeed.
Hi, Alex. How
Hello.
are you?
All right.
Fantastic. Well, great, Alex. You can, Reese would be great if you can turn up, because I got some stuff I need you guys. I'm working on my shopping list coming out once they start announcing.
With Dan's replacements.
Yeah.
How many pallets?
Yeah, I know. Oh, God. But there's going to be some amazing artists going to be there this year, some good releases. Yeah, and I think we do have some of them coming on board doing some NFT. We are working on, going through each artist and just see who can make it on time. Because we also want to make sure that the release is we're not going to be overcrowded. It's just going to be nice drop every day. We have something good, and I think a lot of them will be small numbers as well.
Jermaine, are you doing decon this year?
I don't know. I'll be real honest that I'm sort of in the same thinking as Frank. It's Orange County, and I don't want to I don't want to show up and the entire time sort of like not enjoy it, because I'm worried about this and that, and so it's one of those deals to where I'm leaning very heavily towards just waiting until next year, and then next year coming out and just blowing everybody away.
Yeah.
Mondo, if I may, I was looking into this. Obviously, I have some concerns myself. I have people with compromised immune systems in my family, so I need to be careful about what I do. But this year, they're doing temperature checks at the door, mask required at all times, proof of vaccination or negative test required before entering the halls, with sanitation stations, blah, blah, blah. So if that helps your decision at all, that's kind of what they're putting in place as far as safety protocols for this year.
Nice. For me, it's not just that, but like for me, it's also like the travel. Like I've got to come across the country to get out there.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, I could drive down in my bubble, right? But my concern is like, okay, like I want to eat. I'm gonna want to go eat at a restaurant. I'm gonna want to go to the local bar. I'm gonna want to go to Disneyland. I want to go to the bar. I want to go to downtown Disney. I'm gonna stay in the hotel, and those are the places where you just can't guarantee. So
I think Mondo, we're doing it. I'm not going out, but Mondo will have a presence there for sure and be releasing some new things.
What is this for? Is this for DesignerCon?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
we'll be there.
Yeah, it's I mean, next year will be huge. I mean, once everything get back to a bit normality. So, yeah, but VeVe will be dropping some of these, and Decon understands that a lot of the travelers will not be traveling in from outside US, so it will be a good opportunity for some of these artists to experience new ways of offering. So it's good.
That's great. Are you doing drops that people will there be any way for like people at DesignerCon to get priority, or are the drops just sort of in conjunction with the timing of DesignerCon?
Yeah, it would be more timing. How DesignerCon will be shaping out will be like every few hours. We'll have a calendar on our website or DesignerCon's website, and we'll put in our Medium article all the time slots. We want to make sure that we release things in blocks of times throughout the day. Right now, having it available there, and I did have few people email me because they did say, they're thinking to go to New York Comic Con if the exclusive is only going to be available at the show.
Mm-hmm.
Just for this year, we don't want people to all traveling into New York Comic Con and maybe they get sick. We feel a little bit of socially responsible, so we are going to open it to everyone, like we normally do the drop. And unfortunately, some of the drop is going to be such a small number that I know it's going to be even more crazier than the comics, to be very honest.
So breaking news, everybody! Go ahead and run to your Twitters. Multiple drops, multiple drops per day at very limited quantities.
Yeah,
David, you always with the heat.
Yeah.
We should
yeah.
We should try next year to coincide a physical and digital release. That would
Absolutely.
Be fun.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah, Mitch. Would be and with any of the the artists that we're working with, including Mondo, would be interested.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Doing some physical mix. Yeah, it'll be fantastic. Good fun. Yeah. So Frank, what's you want to talk a little bit more about this one-of-one thing in OpenSea? I'm sure we do have some whales and listening in.
Sure.
That could be interesting.
What I've been doing is for each of the drops, I've been putting up a very small amount of one-of-ones between 6 and 10 each time that have something to do with the drop, so that because VeVe is going to might be able to go on OpenSea soonish, right? So I kind of want this is actually, I think, an opportunity for some collectors to get a really nice, unique piece for, the equivalent of 1,500 gems, right? That maybe can be a centerpiece to the VeVe NFT drops. So, very few pieces. I usually just sort of tweet them out today. I'm sort of going to do them throughout the show. And, if you want to get an NFT, some VeVe cats are already collecting. Here's an opportunity to get something special. There won't be, I would say over time, there'll be fewer than 100 Labbit NFTs available outside of VeVe, and I hope they become, cherished possessions for people.
Yeah.
And then, and I'm also just sort of doing other weird one-of-one NFTs or little tiny micro editions to have fun. So, if you follow me on Twitter, I always announce the drops. And I'm also buying and selling NFTs, collecting some stuff, having fun with that. And I kind of, at some point, I'm probably going to try for some of the VeVe stuff. So, but, I'll be one of those suckers on the aftermarket because I know there's no way I'm going to be able to get them on the drop. But, I am more and more becoming convinced that the NFT thing is like an awesome thing. I know a lot of artists that started, I mean, it's amazing. Okay. I've been doing collectible art for, 35 years in all kinds of formats. This is the most, just pure insanity and fun I've seen in a really long time. And I'm super, super happy that I got involved in the whole situation. It's just the best.
And I just want to make it clear to our audience that we and Frank have a long-term relationship in this rollout. And it was Frank asked me if he was okay or he should be withdraw his OpenSea. And our business here is about fandom and about artists and their well-being and their freedom. So we told Frank, please go ahead, do what you're doing. I mean, we know a company who doing it for the sake of money. So just for all our listeners out there, you know, we all about the community and about the fandom. So you know, we have a good working relationship with Frank, and we've got many more releases coming out. And there will be artworks, there will be non 3D items, and there possibly be some exclusive things that will be coming into VeVe from Frank. But we,
please,
as a company,
please.
yeah,
I'm so happy. And what's interesting, I have so much artwork that is really good that like people today aren't even aware of. I'm going to bring some of that back. I want to create some new characters. I mean, we've already talked about this. You know, I think the next drop is going to be an evolution of the Labbit. You know, the Labrador giant mecha fighting Labbits that were done as toys a few years back. I think maybe that's going to be a drop coming up, and that'll be really crazy. So, you know, yeah. I mean, you know, that's all I want to do is do this now.
Yeah, I want to co-sign what you were saying earlier. That's not bullshit. Like, VeVe is an incredible partner, and they don't hold the people they work with down in any way, and everything is a pretty open, really one of our best partners we work with. And the thing is, they know that like they bring a lot of value to the table, so they don't need to be scared about people doing other things or going other places. It's really been a great partner.
Yeah. Thanks, Mitch.
You guys at VeVe give a lot of freedom to the artists, and I think primarily that's because David, you know, you're a collector, so you know, and you know that there's certain things when you really get into collecting deep. There's certain things that nobody ever really says, but collectors know. It's just that kind of thing. It's the way, you know, collectors have that kind of that swagger. You know, if you know, you know. And I think that's why you guys work, at least in my experience, so well with artists. The freedom and the respect that you guys give to artists to sort of visualize their dreams is pretty impressive.
I mean, I think a few months back or a few weeks back, you asked me, "Oh, you're doing a charity event. Could you still do it?" And I'm like, "You don't even have to ask me. We will be supporting you everything you wanted to do, and that's what you believe in." So, you know, that's quite a big one. And I just want to take the opportunity to thank everyone because I think Dan forgot yesterday. I think around June or July, we did a Rewind Collective with Givenchy, the foundation for Mac. I just want everyone to know that thank everybody for the support. We did write out a check for 128,000 or something, and it went to Mac in France. So anyone who participated in that charity event, thank you so much. Mac wrote us a beautiful letter and thank everyone who supported them. And Rewind's another organization, collective of artists, basically believe in a lot of these minorities, women's rights things, and will continue to be releasing their product. So just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone, and because the money we took in basically went to the charity straight away. And that's what we're about. We're not really about every single drop. We have to have a commercial sense. And without just, you know, even with a lot of our IP owners, I just want to stress it out is that most time we don't ask for exclusive. If any of them we do ask, we really believe that no one should be owning one property exclusively and to market or to run it. That's not how I believe this world will operate. I think it's all about sharing, and if you're going to be bringing out a great product, sure. I mean, that's what companies do in the toy market. Hasbro makes fantastic 3 1/4 inch figures. Funko makes the best deform figure. Hot Toy, they do very good 1/6 scale. And, you know, Kit Robot brings out beautiful, cool final. there's company in Japan brings out Safubis, all handmade, one of a kind. It's that this is how the collectible business work. There should be never one platform or one way of distribution of that product. So I know a lot of our users get frightened every time they see a little post from another property owner doing something, and and with Frank, he respect us. We have a good working relationship with Frank, so people don't have to start thinking, "Oh my God, Frank is leaving VeVe."
Oh, dude, never. Like I say, it's like I can't have a drop every week, so I want to just provide higher end, more expensive stuff for those that want to go deep, on my collectibles on OpenSea to keep the ball rolling. And as people know on Twitter, I basically just include all of the different VeVe channels on there. The VeVe people get first shot at everything. So, with my stuff.
I don't know if you'd have a
I'm on
choice.
Clubhouse a lot, talking baloney. Please feel free to join our rooms, whatever.
Frank
have a lot of fun. We're having fun with this.
Frank has also become quite the NFT collector in the last few weeks. It's been fun.
What have you been looking at?
Some good choices. What did I get?
And were they intentional, or did you?
I grabbed a couple of cryptodes early before they really heated up, and those things have gone up over 6 ETH floor price. So I really like this project called Notorious Frogs. They're really fun people, kind of a fun thing. Art's really kind of cool. Freaked out, got emotional, bought a whole lot of frogs, but grabbed a couple of rare ones, managed to flip a couple of those, and did okay on that. And just what else did I dabble in? Super Shiba Club is a new thing going on. I think. Yeah, I got a Lost Poet going on or two. There's a new drop today, Super Shiba Club, with a really great artist, Susie. Really cute. If you like a really cute kawaii art and you like Shibas, check out Super Shiba Club. It's really cool. And some of the other usual suspects that are hot. And also bought a lot of stuff from unknown artists who I thought their work was interesting to support. Because I think the main thing with NFTs is, I've seen a lot of artists whose work is really good, who weren't able to sell in the physical world. Suddenly they're making a living. And that's always a really sweet thing to see, And for VeVe, David has excellent taste. I've known Jermaine since he was a teenager. I'm super happy that Jermaine's on the platform with me because me and Jermaine creatively come from the same part of the world, the same era. We understand each other. So it's nice to have like a true friend along for the ride. He's got a drop coming up on VeVe probably in a couple of weeks. Go get it, baby. It's all good. It's like there's nothing negative about this, so I'm ecstatic.
Absolutely. You mentioned earlier that you're feeling re-inspired to create again. Are you creating physical pieces, digital pieces? Are you leaning one way or the other, or?
I'm doing the thing. I mean, what I'm doing is, it's kind of like I hadn't been really doing new drawings and really doing new stuff for a long time because I was just so busy with Kid Robot and making toys and sort of licensing programs and stuff and also it's just like for the amount of effort to do a lot of new art, like can't really sell a whole lot of it, right? Just because of everything that's going on, the whole, everything's messed up. And so it's kind of like then between having to stay home for 2 years and all these online opportunities opening up. I've done more drawing in the last 6 months than I have in the last 6 years.
All right.
It's exciting. It's instant gratification. I don't have to get something printed and shipped and all that. I don't have to have any of that. I can just happily sit in my little workroom and have fun drawing silly things. Those of you that got the turds on Hicketnook a few months back, that was fun, right? So it's actually made doing the drawing super fun again.
And I feel like some people feel like they can only like one or the other. Why can't you like both?
Oh, absolutely.
Like you can collect a physical piece, and
I don't even know what we're talking about, but that's hilarious.
What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Good, man.
Good.
You're like, why do you got?
What's going on?
There we go. They're having a good time. So yeah, so the NFT world has completely, and my drawing's gotten better because I'd gotten rusty, and now since I'm actually drawing like 12 hours a day, and drawing exactly what I want, like silly, humorous cartoons and shit, right? Characters. I love drawing characters, creating new characters. Suddenly I'm in heaven because it's like before, I would do a character and then try to make a toy, which costs so much money. It's so hard to do. Then try to sell the toy, and it's kind of like it's exhausting. Years of that, and you never. I mean, I'll be honest, you don't make that much money. With the NFTs, especially with VeVe, like in the future, like my stuff will be able to like animate and do weird shit, right, and come apart and go back together. Stuff I could never do a Transformer toy. I could never afford to do something like that. Now I can fucking do it. So for me, the future of this stuff is what gets me super excited. Like, dude, I can put out a piece of art that like, you can press the buttons and the thing will do all kinds of crazy shit, and it looks super. It's just for a creative person, dude, it's super exciting. Super exciting.
Is a Lego or a Transformers toy at the top of your list? Is that the number one thing you wish you could create?
Well, I did kind of get a Mega Block toy out. That was pretty cool, but but it was Mattel, and they did a super limited run. Nobody got it. Whatever. It's nice to have it under my belt. This way, it's like, no, I would rather do this digitally, man. I would rather do this digitally
Right.
because digitally you don't have to like adhere to the laws of physics, right? So like my lavender character, sometimes it can really transform. It can shoot rockets. It can like turn itself inside out. All on your NFT. Like how fucking there could be a soundtrack. I could do a whole bunch of them. It could be turned into a comic book story, right? Right? You do one panel at a time. There's endless fucking cool shit that can happen. And I have tons of designs that were never made into toys because it was not possible financially or physically. Now it is. So I'm super rejuvenated. I really appreciate. And here's the thing I gotta say, I'm getting a callus from patting myself on the back so much. The thing is, man, what's really priceless is that like I came up totally as an independent artist. Here's my sob story. I never finished high school. I had lots of bluer collar jobs, including the military, until I was 30. I lucked out, started working in the music scene, blah blah blah. And the fact that now I'm somebody that started with nothing and on VeVe's platform, which I'm totally convinced, guys, that you're all getting in on like the first day of the next fucking Amazon here. Okay, like VeVe is going to be a very big entertainment company plus. Okay, down the road, the opportunity to get equal billing with some of the largest licenses and IPs in the world is fucking insane. I'm forever grateful for that opportunity because it's something I've tried to do my whole life. I wasn't ever really able to pull it off to this extent, and now because of David, and his compatriots, man, like it's going to happen for me and for other artists. And, they could just be selling professional sports crap or whatever, right? They're not. They're taking chances. They're doing some fucking cool shit, and the stuff they're drawing from like the designer toy scene, fucking rad, dude. Like it's everything I could have ever dreamed of.
Thanks, Frank. We do quite often have to tell the licensor that we do need to leave room for the independent artists, and they kind of understand that. And some of in the future you will start to see collabs with brands that we already signed on. So hopefully we'll see more cross branding collabs. And you know how this designer toy works with brands as well with fashion. There's a lot of other avenue and areas that as a company we want to trial and see if it works. So we'll be inviting quite a few of our artists to join on that ride and to see how that maps out as well. Yeah, but we definitely in a very, very nascent early stage of what's going to be transforming what the possibilities endless right now. And now we're starting to see a lot of huge mass market collectors who, for example, who like James Bond, who came in just to participate on the bomb drop. I don't know how well they done. I mean, I did message MGM today to go, listen, your audience probably going to be pretty upset because they're just going to come in and they're going to see sold out and they're going to go, well, how is it possible? I came in the time you told me to come in. And we also want to stay really true to the integrity of collectibles. I mean, we had to fight in a way to say, listen, we need to keep the edition this low. I mean, some of these edition, just today, we could have sold through 5 times or 8 times more, with the traffic that's coming in. But it's also, the brand really understand the community that we're fostering rather than go, well, this is purely a cash exercise. They needed to understand we need to ensure that these are true collectibles and, artwork. Because it's no good we flood the market, Frank. So, and you know how the designer industry is. It's all about,
you gotta be careful. You gotta do your timing right, and you guys understand that. So,
do you guys feel that we have attracted a lot of that physical designer toy audience so far, or are we? Yes.
Yeah. Because the first 3 artists that you picked out, okay. So what you've attracted is not sort of like, I mean, if you guys had started out with, say, like with Cause or somebody, you would sort of have got that hype market, right? But what you actually did by picking Ron and Jermaine and me a little bit is that those are artists that have had a decades-long relationship personally with the core toy collectors. You've been to the conventions. Me and Jermaine and Ron have worked every convention, every event forever. We like the fans. We are fans. We collect. We hang out with the fans. We don't just sort of like, okay, here's my art, give me money, and I'm not going to talk to you. I come from punk rock, the first era of punk rock. I believe in, staying true to where you come from. And I get the feeling that you guys are kind of this way too, right? You're just not a couple of guys in suits that, okay, here's a good deal. Like, you actually understand the collector aesthetic and the vibe because, face it, you're fucking nerds too, right? So
I don't even own a suit.
Because when 6 years ago, when Kid Robot went through the process of being sold to ownership, like, I had to go to weird normal pitch meetings to billionaires at like Fortress in New York and shit. And it fucking sucked because they didn't even understand anything about the company, right? And to actually be able to have conversations with you guys and we know exactly what the fuck we're talking about, just makes life so much easier, dude. Right? Like, you understand the value behind the value. And I think that's something that cannot be bought or made or learned in business school. And that's, in the end, that's going to be the greatest asset that your company has, is that you understand the stuff that you're offering inside and out. So you know what people want. It's golden, dude.
Thanks, Frank. Why don't you talk about? Why don't we move to a segment? I guess, Reese, we can get Frank to introduce the lineup today, coming as dropping tomorrow, and maybe we got some fans down there probably want to ask Frank some question. We'd love to.
Any question?
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds good to me. Yeah. Do we want to reset the room, guys, before we?
For sure, man. For sure, Reese. What a great conversation so far. Thanks everybody for being here. Reese, David, Kozik, Mitch, Jermaine. We're having a great time. VeVe Collectors Chat. I want to give a shout out to Wendy, Claire, and Orange Bag Lady from Women X VeVe. I'm not 100% sure if that's how you say it, but I've been totally enjoying everything you guys have been doing. You've done some amazing interviews, and you guys are really going to do a lot of big things in VeVe. So welcome here. And I know Claire and Af are pushing 2 a.m., so I think it's probably best if we let them ask questions first. Because they have been, I know Af has a question, I think, if he's even still awake. But that's the reset. I'm really excited for this room. I enjoy listening to Frank and his perspective and his candor. So Yeah, it's been great so far. I'm just enjoying this as a fan. Claire or Af, do you guys want to? Oh, Frank was going to go over the list, I think, and then we were going to do questions.
Yeah, let's intro the drop, and then
yeah,
we can
let's
dive
talk
into some
for
questions.
sure, for sure.
Okay, so
Perfect.
tomorrow's round of Labbits, I'll start with the Labicorn. So, I just love all that cute shit, and but I like to make it a little humorous, and I think that the Labicorn kind of speaks for itself. Labicorns are definitely magical, and they may lead you to places you don't particularly want to go, but you never know what you're going to find. So I think the Labicorn can be your ticket to over the Rainbow Bridge to lands of candy and fun. So that's the Labicorn. But the Labicorn is also, could use a little bit more time in the shower when you meet them in person. So you've got your Labicorn, which is it's all about magic, basically. Then you've got Hooverville. So Hooverville is I have a great love of like 1930s cartoons and late 20s cartoons, and a lot of those cartoons are actually political commentary for the common man, hidden as cartoons about like things like the Great Depression, the situation the country was in. So I made a little Hooverville Labbit, and he actually lives in a world, and I'll be putting up an NFT that shows like a good day in the life of him here soon. So Hooverville is all about like times are bad. Uh, the world could get you down, but there's a possibility around every corner, and you never know when good luck's going to smack you in the face. So just keep a confident attitude, right? And don't give up, and because you never know. And I can say that from personal experience. I used to live in my car, so Hooverville is all about the ability to try to keep the glass half full at all times. And so that's the Hooverville. He's available in like a grayscale rubber leg style animation edition and the full color edition for the folks who can afford a fancy color TV. Then and all of these were physical drops. These are all like
They were.
physical Labbits from the past. So if you scour eBay, you may be able to find a matching physical component. I'm also in the military, but Labbit's not too aggressive, so Labbit basically didn't want to carry a gun, so they made him like a medical corpsman. So Labbit has to carry the stretcher when dudes get knocked out at the paintball field, basically. So you've got your army medic paintball Labbit. That's what his story is. Yeah. Then you've got the Red Rum Labbit. So I'm fairly obsessed with The Shining, as probably everybody in this room is. So this is my ode to Kubrick's great masterpiece, and he came in two versions: a sort of just a Labbit version. There's also a Jack Torrance version out there. Now, the Jack Torrance version is not on VeVe, but I am minting one on OpenSea, just one. So that's his little story. And also there's the second version of the Backstab Labbit, correct? The white Backstab.
There is, yes.
So the Backstab story continues, and I'm really a big fan. I think it's an OJ song about, they smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place, the backstabbers. Remember that song from the 70s? And it's kind of true. So, it's a stab Labbit world out there, and the Backstab Labbit is just a little message to, always keep your eyes open, because you never really know with some folks.
It's a good rundown.
And, there's 6 more Labbits for the pack.
Ready to go. Do you
build your army? Build your army.
Build your army. That's exactly what we're going to see in these showrooms. When you're creating these, the different versions of Labbit, do you create the story behind them first and then draw them, or do you just kind of?
Yeah. So, back in the 90s, I got really fascinated with platform toys, right? And so, platform toys are like a special art, and the challenge is to make the simplest possible thing carry the most amount of information, right? It's like they were like 3-dimensional icons or symbols. And so I created the platforms first because this is an appealing shape, right? And it could be ironically funny in a lot of contexts. And then basically, I've gone through over the years and done Labbit after Labbit and character after character, exploring the various things about society, pop culture, history, crass humor, silliness. My stuff doesn't have a heavy message. I want my stuff to be fun for people. almost like a little
Yep.
pet. And, I can't tell you how many photos have been sent to me over the years. Like, here I am with my special rabbit, like literally at the South Pole or on top of the Eiffel Tower. So people, they take these characters into their life and they make it part of them. I think it's comforting. There, people have rabbit themed weddings. It's crazy. Okay, kids like it. So, I'm fascinated with platforms. I'm fascinated with Japanese type characters. I'm fascinated with, socioeconomic ideas and like and memes and all these things that make life rich. In the old days, maybe it was
Yeah.
animism. Now you've got all these characters everywhere. They're like little deities that you use and they're part of you. And so I'm personally fascinated. So like the work with the characters and the toys and now with VeVe is like sort of my exploration of the world around me through stuff that's kind of cute, but also makes you think just a tiny bit sometimes. And if somebody looks at a piece and laughs a little bit, then that's it. I've done my job. I'm happy. And I think Labbit definitely has done that for an awful lot of people.
Yeah, and I just got to jump in and say I've been a fan of Labbits before. I knew your full story, Frank. I've been going to shows and unknowingly seeing your gig poster art for years. Also kind of coming up in the punk rock scene as well. And then when I moved to LA, I used to frequent, or still do anyway, Giant Robot a lot, and I remember seeing Labbits in there, and I always thought they were cool. And I had one at some point, as a little mini one, and unfortunately lost that. But just quickly touching on, the story behind, sitting down and coming up with the story behind each of these Labbits. And, I'm going to apologize to David, you in advance, but a question I get, surprisingly frequently from our community is if at some point you ever envision these Labbits breeding. Now, I don't know if that's part of the lore, is it the story, as it were, of any of these Labbits, but maybe exploring some kind of far down the road functionality of merging NFTs, if you will. Do the Labbits breed at all?
Yes, they do. So actually, and VeVe has this, there's a comprehensive 200-page Labbit Bible. It shows the evolution of the Labbits. It shows the different times in the history of the Labbits, details of the Labbits world, Labbit technology. It's all been created. And my hope is that originally the dream was to do it as play sets, never became possible. So now I think there's a possibility to actually unfold a LabbitVerse online if people so desire.
Right.
Because all the core assets are there, and I've got more ideas than could ever be realized for it. So if the Labbits prove to be popular, and VeVe wants to develop out the world, they've already got their hands on it. And
dibs on land in the Labbitverse.
Labbits can pretty much, they can do it all, baby.
They're ready for it. Just you said we have your Labbit Bible, as it will. Just an idea, like, is there potential there we could turn that into a digital coffee table book or something like that? So you walk into a showroom.
Yeah, I mean, you
then,
guys, just take, it could use some, it's basically a basic large brand book. So yeah, I think that over time we can go through it all and revise it all and actually make it into something that has a bit more of a narrative than just a brand book. But
yeah,
no reason why not. A digital Labbit book would be an amazing thing. I would love it.
All right, David, put it on the list.
Yeah, it is already on the list. I think the list has just got bigger. I have to tell Ben after this. I have went through all the pages. Plus, when I was with Frank last year at San Francisco, the last time, Frank was very generous. He gave me some of the original books he published. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to look at retrospect.
That's all the old
bringing
stuff.
it out.
Yeah.
And I mean, we want to do a lot more. And as I mentioned, the last couple of months is really just to get our ducks in a row. We got quite a bit of announcement in the next 8-9 weeks within all this period. There's a lot of stuff happening. which I think most of our internal team doesn't even know about yet. So very exciting. A lot of stuff coming from Frank that, not just the 3D characters. We'll definitely be doing prints with him and digitally. Yeah.
Perfect. That will get people excited. Well, look, guys, that's it for me. Do we want to open this to the floor? I know.
Let's do that.
Waiting. Yeah. Let's get some questions going.
Yeah, I think so. Claire, do you unmute?
Oh, right. I'll go. I wasn't sure if Af was going first, so I'll go first.
Let's let you guys two go first because you guys are absolute troopers, and then we will start to move through everybody. Thanks for everybody's patience.
Yeah, I mean, just to say, massive, massive fan, because I absolutely love rabbits, and being able to own the choices set by Jermaine and also the rabbits today is just a dream come true for me. And honestly, it's amazing that you can find something so cute to think that it's smoking cigarettes and yielding knives. It's just, it's just another level. I suppose you do get attached to collectibles, and I've realised that I've become very attached even to digital collectibles. And then just hearing then that one of the rabbits is a army medic. That's the first job I did when I left school. So there we go. I've got another not that I needed an excuse to buy it, but I definitely have one now. But I'm a very, very proud owner of a one-on-one backstab that you've done, Frank. And I know you explained to me what the unlockable owner contents was, and I was really excited. And then when I simply can't open the button in fear of devaluing my NFT, it's like opening a box if it was physical. So can you kind of reassure me or tell me?
So what I do is on the majority of my NFTs, I include as unlockable content illustrate an Adobe Illustrator print ready file of the piece. So you can take that file anywhere. You can resize it. You can have it printed as on T-shirts. You can print a clay print for your wall. Whatever you want to do, you can print on that. I ask you don't sell it commercially. Naturally, I don't think anybody will. But if you really like your piece and you want to wear it on a T-shirt, hang it on the wall, all you have to do is take that file to any decent print shop, and they can make it 100 feet across. It'll look exactly the same as your NFT. So the unlockable content is complete, finished, print-ready files, suitable for anything.
Amazing.
Oh, and then if we ever wanted to resell it in the future, is that something that goes with the NFT, or does that stay with me?
Ostensibly it could. The system I use, since I don't want to like sort of write a contract for everything, is it lives as a Google Drive file. So if you were to want to pass that on, what you would do is you would then take your Illustrator file, create a Google Drive file, copy that address, send it to the new owner, and then they would ask you for permission to access just like you did.
Thank you.
That will take an extra step. It'll be an extra step on your part. So if you ever do sell it, I do ask that you pass that along to the new owner.
Thank you.
Very nice work. What's up? Oh, yep. Go ahead, Reese. Sorry, man.
Oh, I was just going to introduce Af if he was.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks. 2 a.m. here. Hello, everybody. Full set of labbits and choices. Proud owner. A question to Frank first. I think you said that your favourite of the last series was the choices one.
Yes.
Have you got a favourite of tomorrow's drop?
It's got to be the Labicorn, dude.
Yeah. And
the Labicorn is my spirit animal. So.
And with the I actually bought one of the visibles off of the kid robot. Is there like maximum like editions of those that are sent out? Because I saw that the neon one had been sold out. So do they put like a limit on those, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think that neon you're talking about the physical piece. I think we did 500 pieces of that. So I think there's a total of 1,000 over 2 colorways. So basically on that stuff, pretty much if you email Kid Robot and have attention me, Kozik Kid Robot, I should be able to find out what the additions are, but because we don't list them on the website, but all of those are pretty limited. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a Labbit put out there. The minis, yes, but as far as the larger Labbits, they're always usually 500 pieces each colorway, and that's it.
Awesome. And then a question to David. You mentioned the Comic Cons that are being attended and the conferences and things like that. So, but I was wondering, will there be like an independent VeVe show or something in the future when COVID blows over? Will it be in Vegas? Will it be called VeVe Las Vegas? And will it be next summer?
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, please come. Thank you.
Yes, we do have plans for physical events of our own. Our events will be very different. It will be, we'll probably invite our artist guests, our brand partners. I mean, to be very honest, we did have big plans for New York Comic Con until some of our licensor partners decided it's not the right time for them. There was, we were about to go into merchandising, manufacturing for our fans, things like that. So we definitely going to be doing them physically. And yeah, I mean, Dan and myself, we love Las Vegas. So yeah, definitely we're open to the idea having the first one there. And I think Reese will know a little bit. I mean, there are community members even far reach out in Europe that is looking to do some sort of con in conjunction with us. We're looking at quite a few options.
Yeah. There are a few people that have reached out and have started to put together some plans and contact some sponsors. So if that all comes off, we could see some community-run VeVe cons around the world.
And if you guys,
in the next 12 months,
if it ever seems interesting to combine MondoCon with VeVeCon, hit us up. Let us know.
Oh,
sounds
yeah,
great to me.
That means I can get all the prints I need.
You guys should put them both together and call it Donkey Kong.
That's great.
Very good idea.
Awesome. Thanks everyone. And yeah, my profile picture at the moment is Jermaine's choices at the Tokyo Olympics. So I was having good fun with them. So yeah, just to reiterate what Frank was saying about taking these everywhere with people, it's great. So loving the journey and looking forward to tomorrow.
Thanks,
Hey,
Al.
looks good.
Cheers, hey, I know Orange Bag Lady in the same time zone as these guys. Does anyone mind if we throw to her next?
Please.
Yeah.
Perfect. I did request that she put some questions together for Frank yesterday. We may have covered some of them anyway, but OBL, if you're around and want to jump in, feel free.
Hi lads, how's it going? How's it going, everyone?
Really well.
I just thanks everyone for coming together tonight. This is so cool. I'm really looking forward to your launch tomorrow, Frank. Everything looks super sick. But yeah, I just had a couple of questions, and they're kind of for Kozik, Mitch, and Jermaine, if that's okay. Just gonna just have a couple. But yeah, just touching on the designer con side of things and the mishmash of like fashion, music, all of these different mediums come together. It's super interesting that I know that Kozik, you've kind of worked in that industry, in the music industry before. And I don't know about like Mitch and Jermaine, but has working in those industries kind of affected your art and that sort of thing, and the fashion industry as well?
Yeah, I think that all three of us came from concert posters originally. And so, when we started doing posters at Mondo for films, it was Rob Jones and I, who's another concert poster artist, and we essentially took the model from concert posters and applied it to films. And our early posters were actually coinciding with screenings at the theater, which is also our parent company. And
Oh,
so
shit.
the early posters were actually films with a date and location and everything on it, just like a concert poster. So I would say that working with bands is probably the biggest influence on all of us, not speaking for Jermaine and Frank, but that's literally where all three of us came from in art.
Awesome. Thanks, Mitch.
I actually was hoping to ask Frank, because I've never heard him really talk about his concert poster days, but I've heard people say like you're kind of credited with reinvigorating that whole kind of art form
Frank is
back in.
literally the godfather
Yeah,
of
that's
modern concert posters,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
I don't know. I don't have too many questions, but maybe do you have like one or two stories of kind of your favorite maybe band or artist you worked with, or a story from that kind of era? Because that's really interesting, and I mean it's awesome stuff. I was actually looking through a lot of your old posters, and I was looking on eBay, and like people will have like a torn poster, and it'll be selling for like $3,000 on eBay. Some of those original posters. So like I don't know if you had a story or one of the bands you worked with that
Sure.
was
I mean,
really
well,
cool. I'd love to
the
hear it.
way I got started, in general was back around 1980, 81. I was living in Austin. I was still in the military at that point, and I was going to all the early punk rock shows around there. And Austin had a very thriving underground scene for a variety of reasons. And I tried to be in a band or two. I sucked. So, but I could do like little posters, and I had been doing like mail art and stuff with like some musicians. So, me and a couple of friends put together this little collective called the Art Maggots, and we would do just weird black and white Xerox kind of art and weird drawings, and we paste them up or staple them up around town. It's like 1981. Um, so, early street artist, I guess. Um, and then some local bands saw these posters and, hey, would you do a poster for our band? And so I started doing just, black and white punk rock Xerox posters for local bands. Uh, Kind of like started working at, I worked the door at all the punk clubs in Austin in the 80s and early 90s, worked at a lot of the clubs, uh, you know, uh, caught all of the bands that became famous on their first tour, did a little poster for them. Then when they got big, I started doing their posters for them on a national scale. So just by being kind of like in the right place at the right time, I got to know an awful lot of musicians. And started working with them. It became kind of a big thing. I got a silkscreen press and started doing big, colorful silkscreen posters that were way nicer than the posters the record labels were doing. And it kind of peaked in '93. I got a huge spread in Rolling Stone magazine out of it. And then after I got that Rolling Stone article, I started getting hit with like a ton of commercial work because, all the big companies wanted to sell to grunge people. So I did, tons of big commercial campaigns in the '90s, made a lot of money, used that money to start a record label, put out, 212 different records. Some of the bands became very, very famous later. We did their first records like High on Fire, Queens of the Stone Age, bands like that. I did their first releases. Um, Sort of helped invent. So, out of all, and Rolling Stone is the one that kind of like said, like, I was the first person to do anything with posters since like the '60s era. Um, and I worked basically in the print poster and record business until the early 2000s. Decided to get out of it. Because I had been going to Japan a lot, and I got really fascinated with urban vinyl toys in the late '90s. I made my first toy in Japan in 1999 with a company called Bounty Hunter. Um, did a bunch of early releases with Medicom Toy around 1999 through 2002. Uh, then Kid Robot started stateside. They called me up, started licensing to them, and I've literally sold 1 million toys through Kid Robot and others since then. Then in 2014, Kid Robot was about to go belly up, and so it was bought by a guy who approached me about running the company for him and sort of like fixing all the broken stuff and mending all the burnt bridges. And I've been doing that for the last 6 years. And Kid Robot is back on top, making a huge profit. I've sent the whole, so basically one thing just sort of led to another. And over the years, people just like my work and kind of like the gigs got bigger. But I have no education, I have no schooling, I'm entirely self taught, did it all on my own. It's been a really fun time. And I kind of like was kind of thinking lately, okay, so, I've had 3 acts in the creative play so far, the print poster thing, the record label advertising fine art thing in the 90s and early 2000s. The toy thing was very successful. Is anything going to be next? Oh, maybe I'll write a stupid book or something. And then NFTs happened. I got turned on to it basically by seeing Jeff Soto be really successful with his first few drops and going, well, fuck, I want to do that. Greg Mishka was an early proponent of it as well. So took their advice, looked into it, got into it, started minting. I had talked to David a while back. I didn't quite understand what they were doing, but then it became super apparent. So I called them back and I was like, dude, I get it now. I'm ready to roll. And and anybody that's heard me, I like hanging out and talking to people. I like social media. I like talking in rooms. I like knowing what the people that like my art are doing and what they want. I like seeing their stuff too. The NFT community is really fun, especially on Clubhouse. It's very much like the early days of the Gig Posters forums, or I would dare say it, the early days of the toy or punk rock scenes. It's like a bunch of young, interesting people from all over the world getting together, doing cool visual shit and having a great time. It's perfect. I love it. That's my story.
Epic. Anyone have a follow-up question there?
Dude, how do you follow that? Is all I know. That's all I'd like to.
Right. He covered like most of the. Frank, you covered most of the questions I was gonna. But just for all of you guys, again, on the artist side, which artists, like growing up or like recently, are some of your OG heroes that have kind of either influenced you or you guys love to buy or collect?
So I grew up in Europe. I'm Spanish. And so I came to America a couple times, but I pretty much grew up in Europe. But I had access to an American Air Force Base PX, okay, because my dad was an American, even though he didn't live with us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had the ability to go to the Air Force Base and buy stuff because I had a dependence card. If anybody's a military kid, you know what I'm talking about. You can go to the PX. So when I grew up, I had this really weird combination. We lived in Madrid. I would go to the Prado Museum all the time because it was around the corner. I got a very good education when I was young at a proper school. But at the same time, I was buying like Spanish weekly comics, which were really great back then. I was buying like all of the early 1970s, like Metal Hurlant stuff that came in down from France, right? So I got turned on to all those European heavy metal artists, in the original publications when they came out. I would buy them at the bookstore. And then I would go to the Air Force Base and I would buy like Weird War Tales and Sergeant Rock and Spider-Man and Mad Magazine. So my idea of America is completely built from Mad Magazine, right? Which was and I'm talking, this is like the 1960s, the early 1970s, and Mad Magazine was like, really great then. So my stuff is an influence of all of that. So my heroes are people like Jack Kirby and this Spanish cartoonist called Ibanez and Mobius and Philippe Drouillet and sort of like all of that stuff, all of that, and Mad Magazine, right, from all the ages, because I really got into it. Mort Drucker and Al Jaffe and all those guys. So
amazing.
But then
We need
there's
a
like
list.
a
We need
slight
a
layer
list.
of like, I have a good education and I know about fine art too. And once in a while I can throw in something from that era. So like, but I love drawing stupid comic cartoons. I've never had the ability to write a comic book. So to me, it's all just one-page gags, but that's essentially what I do. Also, through punk rock, I really got into collage art. And so kind of like everything I do, even though it's a drawing now, is sort of based on a collage principle. And if you're into collage, the benefits of working with collage. It allows you to design pretty tightly because you only got a certain amount of fixed elements to play with, right? And I like that challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's all kind of, and over the years, I taught myself how to oil paint and acrylic paint and draw and sculpt and use, computers and stuff. And so just so my influences though are like a mixture of like European, American, and Japanese trash culture, and sort of like museum paintings and like historical books.
That's
Kind of a
interesting.
weird mix.
Yeah, like a
And
collage of different, like
right,
like totally different
and
and contrasting.
right. And I became an adult in the punk rock scene, so like my world outlook is completely shaped by punk rock, which the punk rock was a do-it-yourself we don't want to do your thing aesthetic. So I've always been kind of a standalone dude. I've never really gotten involved in any like art movements or anything. I've always just done my own thing, right?
Heck
The
yes.
way I wanted to do it, you know? So that's kind of the mix you get with me. There's no huge message. My art is not important. I think my art is, I want my art to be fun and entertaining, and I want people to have it around them. I'm not trying to like solve any of the world's ills or anything like that.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, but bringing
Oh
up
wow,
the
you guys are
morale of the
really
world.
snapping up these. You guys are really snapping up these 101s. Thank you very much. I'll be posting some more here in just a minute.
On that last thing you said, Frank, about solving the world's ills, laughter is the best medicine, and the best medicine is also preventative medicine. So not waiting until you got a bunch of stuff to cry about. Anyway.
I mean, my thing is I don't proselytize too much. Just what I've done, you know, when I had the record label, I had the ability to hire lots of people. I hired the kind of people that usually don't get hired. At Kid Robot, I have the opportunity to hire a lot of people. I hire the kind of people that usually don't get hired. Um, I'm a big fan of direct action. You know, I support local businesses. I support independent businesses. I support artists whenever possible if they have the skill set. You know, when I hire people for the various companies I've had, I don't really care like what they look like or what sex they are or who they fuck. Can they do the job? If so, come to work wearing a cone on your head. I could give a shit. So I always try to run like a meritocracy in the workplace. I try to put my political ideals into direct daily access. I'm always happy to like give advice or mentor younger artists when they ask for it, and you know, tell them the truth about everything. So you know, I'm no politician. I'm no grandstanding person on social media about politics. I just practice my politics in daily life and treat people in situations the way that I think is the right way to do it. That's what my thing is. You know, so I can't solve the world problems, but I can solve a few problems that are right around me, and that's what I try to do every day.
Absolutely.
And I try to
So,
use
Bright.
humor as the tool.
Act locally.
Yeah.
That's my job. Always has been. But ironically, my stuff sells all over the world, so it's kind of weird how those things turn out sometimes.
Definitely. All right. King, do you want to keep going around the room or
Yeah,
open the
I
floor?
think so. I think Wendy up at the top has a question.
Nice. I might leave this bit to you, sir.
Uh, hey Frank, thank you, Michael,
Okay.
for letting me ask. I have this question. Like, Frank, you just said that you have like a strong background with different cultures. By any
Yes.
chance, have you experienced like inspiration from, I don't know, indigenous cultures like huicholes in Mexico, or
Oh
even?
yeah, totally. I mean, you know, I'm half Spanish, you know, and so like I used to really be interested in like really, really old-fashioned Catholicism, right? All the
Mhm.
symbology of Catholicism, which I grew up with in my youth because, you know, we went to mass in Latin 4 times a week and it was all about suffering. It was all that really bloody, you know, old school Catholicism. And then when I moved to the United States, you know, I lived in Texas and in California, and you know I'm super interested in like you know sort of like the other side of that, like you know sort of like the shamanism and the older indigenous religions, and I'm really
Mhm.
fascinated with things like you know the Hopi Kachina dancer costumes, right? Certain aspects of like Mesoamerican cultures. I'm really fascinated by like the Hopewell cultures and the Mississippi Valley cultures that existed, you know, back in the early. So I don't feel I don't feel it's right for me to use a lot of indigenous imagery in my work because I'm not an indigene, right? Like I'm
Mhm.
half Castilian Spanish and half Eastern European, but I do feel like a really emotional attachment to some of that stuff. And I
Mhm.
do have you know I do a lot of reading. I have a lot of stuff about it. I don't use it a lot in my art. I have recently been doing like some sort of like it's like peyote god stuff,
Mhm.
just as private drawings and like making up like my own Kachina outfits and stuff. But I don't think I'll be selling a lot of that stuff because, kind of like not my place. But I am super interested in it. And uh, I go to Asia a lot. I'm very comfortable in Asia. Like I get along really well with all the Asian people over there. Like when I go to China, I just go to China. I don't hang out with any white people. I just go to China and hang out with Chinese people, and they're chill, man. Like I'm very comfortable in other cultures because I grew up traveling and I grew up going to North Africa and all over Europe and coming to the United States and South America and all this stuff. So I'm super comfortable in like non-Western cultures because I understand it's just about being chill and like not being an asshole. Basically, everybody's cool. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, for sure.
and but like I say, like my influence is drawn primarily from like Western trash culture, right? And that's kind of like where I have the most fun because I feel like I am allowed to fuck with that. And I did go through a period of exploring like fascism and communism in my art because my family was bitterly divided in the Spanish Civil War. And I grew up in a household of a divided family, a Civil War family, which is like a real Spanish thing. It's a real bitter thing, and my childhood was very complicated by it. Then when I came to America and like nobody cared about any of that shit, it was just about like, do you have money or not, or whatever the fuck. I was like, okay, I can breathe here, right? Because I grew up in a place where it really fucking mattered who your grandparents were to the point like someone wanted to shoot you about it. So, uh, I've had that experience in my life too, which is a very common experience to a lot of like non-Western cultures, right? Like the sort of like constant shit that goes on. Um,
Yeah.
a big proponent of like egalitarianism and democracy and like complete personal liberty, right? So like my experiences growing up in a fascist police state have really made me like super far left, but at the same time, I understand that you have to have a financial system that works. So, all of that's, I've reached a stable equilibrium within myself. And like I say, like, I don't feel like I need to like take like loudmouth social media action. I just practice what I preach every day in my personal life,
Yeah.
if you
And
want to get heavy about things like that.
yes, I also have another question that is basically related with the one that I asked. What do you want? Like, you're an artist. What do you want that the public feels when they see your art? Which means I
Happy.
know that. Okay, that's it.
I want it. I want it to make them go, "Ooh, that looks cool," or "Oh, that's funny," or "Oh, that's interesting." I don't want them
Okay.
to go, "Oh, that's gross," or that's creepy," or whatever. Like, but I try to work things in that sometimes like there's a second layer, and some people get it and some people don't. But I'm not out to really. I mean, when I did the punk rock stuff, yeah, I would do sort of shocking stuff, but it seems pretty tame these days. These days, like I say, like I like happiness and humor and sunshine, as corny as that sounds for me to be saying. And more, that's the kind of art I'm doing.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for those answers, Frank. Like, I really appreciate it because for me, it's important to see like that artists have different backgrounds, especially with cultures. Because of course, I am not like. Well, I have also influence because I'm Colombian, so I understand what you're saying. So thank you so much for that because I can see that in your art. Thank you, Michael.
Pleasure as always, Wendy. Yeah, we could definitely keep moving. If anybody has any questions, if anybody's in the audience, you can look up on this stage, and there are literally a dozen or more amazing artists up top here. I mean, Mumbot, Matt French, Brian Morris. He knows he's literally one of my favorite artists in the whole world. Joe Bradley, Carrie's here. She has an awesome project
Fidget's
that has
fucking
just
great.
been released. What's that?
I said Fidget's great. I mean,
Yep. Yeah,
there's a lot of secret
we can
superstars
go
out
around the
there.
list. Like, this
You
is
guys should
really
check
cool.
out all their profiles. Like, they're all doing super interesting shit and doing quite well in the scene. You should check out everybody's profile. Please do. That's up here.
Big time. Up on stage here, it's a who's who. Go to their Twitter, check it all out. But I will open up the room to questions. I just wanted to make sure that people in the audience knew that to check this out because it's very proud. These really great people up here. So check them all out. Go through the profiles. Like Frank said, doing amazing things.
I don't really have much of a question, but I just wanted to say, thank you to Frank and VeVe because it's kind of been this like, for me at least, it's been this like lifting of a curtain and there's new collectors of my stuff, and now I'm collecting on VeVe, and like I've been a collector. Designer Con's like my favorite event of the year every year, and like that's just the stuff I'm super into, and now I'm like meeting people that are into the same stuff, and like some people have like helped me to get some stuff that I've really enjoyed, and like the Star Trek stuff is like right up my alley. And the very first thing I got on VeVe is Joe was able to send me a Frank, a Labbit, and so that was the very first piece I had, and I freaking love that thing. So it's like it's like a new way to collect, and
how did you
more
find
like-minded people.
Absolutely. How did you find VeVe? When did it come into your
life? Frank. Hearing Frank do
okay.
it, and yeah, the first drop.
Yep. Coming across there. Nice.
Yeah, Fidget and I, hang out in rooms every night and yuck it up with the rest of the malcontents. We have the impolite rooms where everyone just talks over each other and
what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What floor are you on, Frank?
Tezos.
Shout out to the low bright.
You gotta unmic to laugh.
Great.
And then every now and then someone sees something exciting to collect, and then we all freak out about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey,
I spend way too much money buying digital frogs.
Yes. Hey, I'm wondering why Mitch hasn't said more in the past 5 minutes. Did you go to sleep, Mitch?
Man. Mitch helmed a really great project called the Visitors, great NFT project. I know he's got some amazing projects in the works. Mitch, why don't you roll out some shill, baby shill?
Well, thank you. And yeah, I agree with what everyone says about VeVe. It's been wonderful, and it's really the thing about VeVe is like when Frank and I and everyone else up on stage first came into NFTs, we had a ton of contact with other artists doing NFTs, but hadn't really interacted a ton with the collectors of NFTs. And that's gotten much more common now. But one of the first glimpses we got was the VeVe community, and just seeing how passionate everyone was about it. It really does remind me of, the early days of Mondo, the early days of Kid Robot. It really is something special, and you guys should feel really proud to be a part of it. Frank was saying, we recently did a 10,000 piece collection called The Visitors with the artist Mike Mitchell, who we've worked with a lot at Mondo. I assume we'll probably eventually get some of Mike's poster work for Mondo onto VeVe. So yeah, it was a fun little thing, and Frank and I are having a lot of fun in the little collectibles world. It's almost like collecting toys, but in little JPEG form. So like Frank said, NFTs, digital art has changed my life and been one of the greatest sort of second acts of a career that I could have ever asked for. So thanks to everyone so much.
Awesome, Mitch.
Dang, Mitch, you and Frank are really, really great orators.
Well, thank you.
That's slang for yackers.
I will fucking talk until someone puts a cork in my mouth. I don't have a problem with that.
What's your favorite flavor of cork, Frank?
Vanilla.
Well, get ready for a whole vanilla wilderness then.
Are you doing a cork soakers joke, Matt?
I have no idea what you're saying, but
he's talking about soaking
corks.
What I've noticed is oftentimes people do not mistake Matt Schreier for me.
That's not true.
We have to debunk this. This is why I come into every room Matt's in, so we can debunk this. We are two different people.
You two are so cute.
I wanted to do a shout out to Frank though. Early on this year was so friendly and really, he gives a good pep talk for any artist. So glad to see you still around, Frank. Glad I'm not blocked. Come on.
What I would love to know before this room turns into weirdo clubhouse insider room with 230 people in it is, does anyone in the audience?
Too late,
because I actually love when people ask Reese and David questions about VeVe and upcoming things and upcoming changes and the
Yeah, I want to
roadmap
know
and
what
all
all
that.
the new goodness is.
Does
Goddamn it!
anyone have any questions to come ask the VeVe powers that be?
I have a question. The VeVe NFTs for DesignerCon, have y'all took care of that?
David?
Sorry, I missed that question.
I've noticed that y'all had a collection for the NFTs for VeVe for DesignerCon.
Yes.
I was wondering what was the status on that. Did y'all post anything on that?
Okay. So basically, well, where we at right now is we're going through the selection process. We I think we announced the DesignerCon partnership few weeks back, and the DesignerCon received overwhelming amount of artists wanting to be participate. So we just tried to shortlist that because we weren't able to fit everyone in to for sure. They will fall under the DesignerCon banner. The idea is to have DesignerCon have a store in VeVe. So many of you probably seen some of the Toy Tokyo branded logo. It will be something similar to that. And then throughout the day during the con, we'll be releasing either 3D digital figurines, what we do, as well as we'll have possibly a blind box on a few of the things, and then will be artworks as well. But I think in coming weeks we will be announcing the artist lineup with either on the DesignerCon website, or we'll definitely be updating on our Medium article.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can speak to that. I'm working with DesignerCon currently to get a release out either next week or early the following week, in which we'll kind of give a update on the artists involved and some of the things that we're dropping. But you can look forward to that on both DesignerCon's website and the VeVe Medium.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I had something to say. I don't know if my mic's on.
Do you still have it?
Yep.
Well, you should say it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. You can hear me. All right, it's totally out there. I thought I was just talking to a dead phone here. Just a couple of things I want to say, and then I have a question for the developers and for the artists. Basically, I came to this as just a crypto guy. Got into it a couple of years ago, lost some money, and then I found that one of my cryptos went way up. Downloaded an app on March 25th, and I found VeVe. I was like, oh my god! Now I'm not a collector. Like I don't collect anything. I never was. But this app changed my life. Like it's in my blood, and I think a lot of us feel that way now. I don't really care as much about the value going up. Like some of the cryptos that I hold, people try showing me charts, and I automatically change out of their channel. I don't care. I'm going to keep it anyways. I bought it. I know what I bought. I'm going to keep it for a long time. Now, what's really crazy about this is as the values go up, I don't want to sell anything. Like I got into it and I'm like, hey, this stuff's going to go up in value. I'm going to make some money. Now I don't care about the money. You know what I care about? I care about meeting these artists that I never knew about. I care about meeting the people who are bringing the toys into my life. I'm an older dude. I'm 40 and I grew up with toys, but I haven't had toys in my life in a long time. I don't even play video games. This app is the biggest toy I've ever owned. And I'm just engrossed with it. I'm infatuated with it. And it drives my being. I just think it's beautiful. Like Frank was saying earlier that, one of his labbits he's putting out is a spirit animal. And I just had me chuckling because I'm like, dude, seriously, I felt the same way. I'm like, this is crazy. Here I am connecting with these artists that are going to change my life and change so many countless people's lives around the planet. And I'm really impressed with what you guys are doing. Just the fact that I'm right here, right now, talking to developers, asking artists questions. I feel like it's part of a community, and it's just a mind-blowing experience. Having said all that, I have a question. Signatures. Will I ever have the opportunity, and I'm sure you've answered this before, to end up at a Comic-Con or something and have one of these awesome artists like Jermaine or somebody else actually sign one of my arts digitally through the app?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, we
you know, both myself and Dan, we talked about, you know, how we can enhance the experience, and definitely working on the signature on the, you know, on the phone and onto the collectibles, definitely something that we're working on. So yeah, I mean, we do want to stay as true to the original as possible, and you know, we always, when we, you know, we're brainstorming how we can make the authentication work better, is really, you know, ideally one day is you open that collectible in your collection, the artist, you press a signature button, he will sign it digitally onto it. It will take a photo snapshot, put it in the blockchain. The whole thing will lock it in, save as that file with the signature on it to verify. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something in our mind, in the roadmap. Yeah, and hopefully we'll see this sooner than later, because we really think a lot of our comic collectors would like to see that on their comics, having signatures or signed by artists, and you know, just bringing that collectability to the next level.
I think Comic Cons are going to get really big. They're going to have a lot of new people.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of fun, and I appreciate that. You know, you sharing that experience that you're going through now. For myself, these comics really, you know, some of these comic I do own the original, but they all in the CGC graded. I never really got a chance to read them, so you know, for me, it's actually going back to reading them, the content, which is what's the most important. But obviously, collectors love to collect, you know, the mint product, so you never get a chance. And I think most of these rare comics, they all been, you know, plastic slagged up, in grader now. So yeah, less and less are going through. And there'll be some exciting news we'll be announcing with our comic in the, you know, in coming weeks as well. There'll be some stuff which I can't really share right now here.
Oh, come on, David.
You're
Come
a
on.
tease.
Soon,
Hey,
soon.
man. Somebody pour him
Teasing
somebody
us.
pour him
How
a drink.
could you?
Come on. I always get loose when I have
Tease
Drop.
between friends. You're a tease.
Get him.
No,
Go ahead and blow my entire marketing plan out of the water.
We won't
yeah,
tell
I think
Dan.
Alex is working on it. So the team's working on it. We got some great, exciting, cool things. I mean, things that, it has been my dreams to have these things happen. So yeah, I mean, just stay tuned, and yeah, I mean,
right on.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
David, keep thinking, keep dreaming for us.
Thanks.
Feel like a kid
Yeah,
again,
that sounds
man. Really.
amazing. But
Yeah,
I
you know what's
totally
funny?
agree with what
Oh,
John
sorry.
was saying. Oh, sorry, I was just going to get a quick. Well, actually, I had a sneaky two-parter, but I was what John was saying before. I didn't see one of my cryptos going up. I was actually stumbled across it searching for another thing starting with ECO, but got it in early enough. But it's just been an amazing ride coming through for all that stuff. But I was just thinking, you know, big kids' toys and that. Like I'd been collecting lots of stuff, but that DeLorean was just amazing. And the amount of people that I've onboarded to VeVe just by handing them my tablet and going, hey, check out my DeLorean in the driveway. And they walk around it like it's a physical thing, like it's great. And then I tell them, walk inside, look out the dash. And yeah, it's, but that's what I was wondering is what sort of things can we look forward to as the power of the phones, you know, sort of goes up. And like I know we've got gliders now and other animated things and all that awesomeness. So is there any hints you can give us there?
Yeah, so the glider is our latest release with interaction. So when you tap it, the wings expand, the copper glass, the shield opens up. You can actually try to sit in it. You see the screen, the monitor. And that is pretty much as true to the movie one-to-one scale as you will see in the latest Bond film. And that type of experiment, you know, I was talking to Dan this morning, is what you will be seeing with some of these major film releases. That how can they bring their fans into that one-to-one? In regards to technology, answering on that side, we are constantly talking to the latest Apple, Google, AR tech companies out there, as well as themselves directly, we really think the inclusion will be a big part in the phone. You know, where if you own some of the latest iPhone, they have these new technology built in where you can actually stand behind on the side of these glider and take photo with it. And then where we're going to be really looking to push this whole thing is the mixed reality and the glasses, the wearable, is where we really see the future of digital content living around you, having beautiful art. And you know, it is very important for us to give that user experience and sharing that power, like you have say, sharing it with your friends and family, how you can be interactive with it, and then eventually we will be opening up with drivable. You can imagine you can drive the DeLorean, you can control it. Apparently, it was able to be controlled when it first came out, but then, you know, I think it's, yeah.
Yeah, that was really exciting.
Not
I
quite
did
ready for
try,
prime
but I
time.
heard that the hardware wasn't quite up to the standard yet, and phones were getting a bit hot. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to when we get to the point where we can see what more of these things can do.
Yeah, what we want to do is to ensure that vehicle that you're driving are really going around the tables, are really going around the chairs, and that's what the technologies allow you. You know, right now, if you were driving in your living room, you kind of will drive across your table because it doesn't pick it up very well. But with the new technology coming up, it's going to know where your table is, your sofa, your TV. When you put your laptop out there, it's going to be behind the table or on the floor or on top of the fridge. It will recognize these things, and that is where the excitement's going to start with us.
So, if I may, David, you've touched on something that's quite close to home. I'd love to connect with you and potentially share some developer kits. We've built a new kind of computer that is an order of magnitude more powerful than a mobile-centric phone to power VR devices. And I think if you're already dabbling with some AR stuff, we have some AR partners that are making some very cool lightweight glasses that plug into our computer that's entirely wearable that might be quite interesting. And so if I may, I'll shoot you a back. But yeah, if you're dabbling with that space already, could be useful.
Yeah, so please do. Yeah, so that's where we are. It short terms anyway. But in long term, you know, Dan and myself, we dream a lot and we talk a lot. And I'm not going to say anything here because it's probably going to be on Twitter and go confirm.
You've learned.
Never.
Well, people are already booking their tickets to Vegas, so you know he might as well.
The other quick thing I was going to sneak in there was just wondering, like you were saying, you know, staying true to the originals and the collections and stuff. You know that. But yeah, I'm wondering, like, because I went, you know, I'd collected other NFTs and then got into VeVe and then eventually went across to Ethereum, which I'd been avoiding because I didn't like the gas fees. And now I just love the Ethereum stuff and, you know, constantly trying to get my hands on some of Kozik's stuff and some of the other guys. But getting a few of these, you know, 10,000 generative pieces and stuff like that. So I know one of the things that people mention, you know, coming over when they're coming the other sort of way from the Ethereum side, you know, they're like, oh, there's, you know, like 10,000 of them, but they're all the same. And I'm like, well, the mint numbers are different. And, you know, if they're not from the collectible side, I'm just wondering, is there any chance of ever having like just some slight difference in backgrounds or something like that? Having, I know that's not like, you know, the traditional collectible thing, but, and I know we have different rarities and stuff, but would there ever be the chance to like tie in with a generative project or have sort of just some sort of slightly different generative thing to make each one unique as well as the rare ones, or that's a bit not so much the collectible?
No, not at all. I think they are collectibles. We are, you know, we have thought about how will real action toy in the real world work, where you add accessories. So that's one of the area that we are thinking, where users buy for another $1.99 accessories to decorate their collectibles, so they are different. And obviously, having a lot of accessories out there, you'll be generating one of a kind of that collectible. That's something that it goes alongside with what we are doing. we believe that it's all about the utility value in a way how you can be very and the background colors and all that is all great because we use a lot of the AR utility. So obviously, when you project a figure out into the real world, you do want to see that figure without the green background or the red. You want to see the real world use. So for us, will be more accessories, possibly colorway, clothing. We're very excited about the VeVeVerse side of things, where you really start to see really uniqueness objects that you can own and decorate with.
I hadn't even thought of accessories and stuff. I'm excited to dress up Throg now. Like, I'm like really excited for the Frogland metaverse, which Squiddy's a part of as well, and seeing what the technology can bring through for that. But it tied in really well with the Frogland drop and the Throg drop. So I was like, there was frogs everywhere in all my favorite like platforms and places, and so yeah, that's really cool.
That was a very early test of where we'll be pushing in with Marvel some of the content, because the frog traditionally not many licensees will pick them up to make toys of them because they probably won't sell super well, and that's just another example that a big brand can be available digitally to something like this, and we're hoping in the near future we have more and more of these type of product and launches, and it was extremely successful. Obviously, anything I miss out, I think, is a success. But same time, I FOMO myself and try to get one in the secondary market.
Yeah, I had to get my Throg on the secondary.
That's so encouraging to hear.
What's up, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Jordan?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So I would like to talk about more about the content creators of VeVe, because that's how I sort of got started, because I just started watching like Twitch streams of crypto, and just like around certain times, like there's a whole group where people just get like super prepared and super excited, like as if they're waiting for like a sneaker drop or something. And I was wondering, like, why is everyone getting excited over, like, what is this? And then I finally found out what it was, and I started to like look in the app and stuff, and man, I was really intrigued because I saw that like the layout of it was really appealing, and it didn't look anything too complicated like crypto normally is. And obviously, the fact that there was like superheroes and comic books, so that's what really got me interested. So I tried telling all my friends and everyone to try to hop on it because it's still so early, and it's crazy to believe, but like a lot of people, like, they're very skeptical. And obviously the fact that like I told them that you can't at the moment get your money out and make like sort of transition into fiat, but that's what I wanted to know too, because with the content creation, like in terms of like the people like Twitch streamers and YouTubers, like it's so small, but everyone knows each other, and clearly everyone, including all the developers and everyone working, is even talking to any normal person like me. I really like that aspect, but I was wondering, like, how are you guys gonna push like to get the general public, like people that don't even know about NFTs? Because before I was skeptical as well, and it just took one person on Twitch to get me all excited and do more research about it. So how are you gonna get like because I believe it does have that potential. Like it does remind me of like sneakers when they drop online and it sells out instantly. Like I really believe it's like very similar to that.
Yeah. So great question. So right now, our biggest aim is to ensure our backend, our database, the whole infrastructure of the app and the rollout gets more smoother. I mean, to be honest, we originally thought the first year we'd maybe have about 65 or 80,000 users, something like that. And we broke that in the first couple months or 3 months in our initial launch. And then many of you guys, probably some of the OG will experience you lock onto the app, it wasn't even functioning because it was just overloading. As a company side of thing, we want to make sure that we put more support on that before we grow it to the mass market. It is at very, very early stage. So you know, even some of the collectible that's in the 10,000 mintage, in the near future, that will be pretty small in compared to size. So number one, going back to you answering your question, will be ensure we have a good foundation. Our back-end teams are stronger, our engineering, and we do have a lot of collab marketing with our franchise that we have signed up. You will start to see that in the coming announcements and releases, that there will be a lot more core marketing. Similar to Marvel, you know, they will put out tweets, they will send out in their Instagram social to onboard these users. But we are very, very careful how much user we want to onboard. I mean, there was many times where I told Dan maybe we need to stop onboarding new users and just capture the market and, you know, really chew what we can handle rather than just keep taking a new user. So we were overwhelmed, and there's a lot of you know, not a lot of just issues. There's flaws. There's little things happen in the back end. We need to fix up before we can, you know, move forward. And the truth is, we are really a small team, and it is still a startup stage. Yeah, so we want to thank everyone for the support and hugely with all these massive brands giving us the opportunity to trial this. And many of you, if you're not in the branding studio licensing business, it's very hard for a major global brand to partner with you, you know, until you have track records or user data, revenue driven. And we're just very honored that a lot of these brands give us that first opportunity to do things.
Yeah, and as if I may piggyback on that, as the marketing guy at VeVe, it's funny. I came in kind of guns blazing, like telling Dan, all right, we need to do this digital marketing campaign. We're going to get all these new users. It's going to be awesome. And he's like, "Whoa, slow down there, cowboy. We gotta get this foundation in place first." And then, it took me a couple of weeks to, catch my breath after seeing every, drop selling out almost instantly. And then just kind of getting a feel for the community. I think that's what's really helped us in this kind of, I'll say incubation stage, before we hit the masses, is that we're really spending a lot of time getting to know the community and what they want and what they're excited about. And as David mentioned, like really trying to lay the foundation for not only the community, but the types of brands that we have on board. So, definitely shout out to David, who's been killing it. And then Al Khan, of course, legend, bringing on all these top tier brands and IP that is really kind of laying the foundation and making it easier for some of other top tier IP to be really excited about experimenting in, which is essentially a very, very new, market for them. They're in the spirit of innovation. They're excited about doing some of these kind of more, involved drop packages as opposed to just, all right, we're going to give you these, collectibles and then we're going to tweet about it. We're really looking forward and have some things in the works that are going to be really exciting and kind of like playing on the synergies of what each of us do best. Us tapping into a community of art lovers, of NFT lovers, of collectors, and then the brands bringing all of their fandoms to a new platform and really playing up the innovation of it all. So it's a lot exciting times. Really excited to kind of like roll everything out eventually. But for now, we're just like, as David mentioned, we're just definitely kind of playing it close to the vest.
Yeah, thanks, Alex.
Hey, Alex,
Hey, guys.
I had a quick question for you. Do you have an idea of how many new users are we onboarding on a monthly basis? If you could maybe give us an idea. I don't know if you have an exact number, but maybe over the last 3 months, how the increase, how much that's increased over the last 90 days.
I haven't got the exact data on that, but since the August Marvel month, I mean, we have definitely seen a few 100,000, downloads. Exact data, I haven't got it. our job right now is not just looking at how much more user we want to get. We just want to make sure that we're always under promising and over deliver. That's what my motto and ethos with Dan. We talk to the studios. For example, the James Bond is such a massive release. They go, well, should we do bigger marketing? And the fact is, if we get more and more user on board, they download it. I mean, this morning I knew what time I need to be on. I need to get half an hour before. Most of these new fans coming on board, they basically have a bad experience. The experience is they see they're sold out. So we don't want that. We tried to build the inventory, and it's not working. Yeah, I mean, but going back to your question, the users are definitely downloads are growing by the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the reason I asked the question is because the first couple drops, the comic drops, you were pretty much able to get as many as you wanted within a 3-second time frame.
Yeah, that's it.
That has since changed, even with the 60, 70,000 drops. You may be able to get two tops. So I've seen a rapid increase of people, I assume, accessing the app since the probably the second, third maybe comic. So that was the reason for the question.
The comics definitely have driven a lot of comic fans. So just so everyone understand a little bit of the comic scene. The comic has always been collectible. People collect the comic for generations. So comic collector gets it. I mean, they going from a physical to a digital, and if it's limited number, I get it. And there's how many, and you guys will know more than I do. There's a lot of institutions out there. They buy comic to invest. I know bankers. I know bank institution go to Comic Con and buy up collections for in a way as an investment or safekeeping. You see Sotheby's selling comic or art. A lot of these $50 million artwork, they go to institution, they go to banks, and they go into their collection, whether in their office, their lobby, or in their vault. They are starting to emerge into the NFT. I mean, I was being contacted by some, funds out there, and there's a fund, for example, in Singapore. They raised $3 or $6 billion to buy NFT collectibles, and they're just starting to emerge into the industry we're in. So, and when they come in, they don't buy one copy; they want to buy as much as they can. So that's one of the reasons why the price is being driven up. But it's purely based on supply and demand, more than anything. So you're now attracting more than just the NFT fans or Marvel fans, or you now got the attention of the comic fans as well as the who love the space already and understand that space. So yeah, I mean, this is just really the start.
I have a question.
Love it.
You're hitting on the bringing people in, and this is sort of like the elephant in the room. We all know it, and we don't want to talk about it. It's the fact that new users come in, and I read the feed after every single drop, and it's the same thing. It's all bots. A lot of people dropping F-bombs, saying this whole thing's rigged. They're saying like, oh, well, VeVe's actually buying stuff on the drop and then reselling it in the market and blah, blah, blah. But what about having drops for just new users? Have you guys thought about maybe doing something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we number one, we do have a very zero tolerance in bot users, and I know a lot of people who use bot and their account get locked up. They get frustrated. They send a ticket or send me a private message to go, well, why did my account? Well, the point is we have a zero tolerance in the company for that, and so we just want to make people understand we do have many bot preventions to go out. Unfortunately, it might be only a 99.9%, so there are maybe one or two users that let the whole thing community down. Number two is we don't actually buy them and then resell them or
Of
secondary.
course not. Of course.
I mean, it's a pure myth. I mean, on that. But in
Right. No,
going
I
to
know.
regard to new users, I think that's a possible.
But I
We
have a
will think
suggestion.
about it.
I have a suggestion. Well, what about, because I know, see, I went out and bought a brand new phone. I got one with a processor, Snapdragon 888. I got the processor speed running all the way up. I don't run any other apps. I went into the BIOS and I changed everything. This thing is like, it heats up and you can almost hear it running during a drop when I'm trying to get what I want to get. And I almost always get it. And I learned this from some of the other people. You have to have a fast phone. I also hardline it to my router, and I got my ping way down. I have to do all that so I can get into the drop the second it happens. And I know that there's people on the other side of the world in Australia that can't even get the drops. But what about having a lobby? That way the lobby is open for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You're in the lobby, and then you get randomly assigned a space. And if there's 10,000 or 30,000 comics, there's going to be 200,000 people in the lobby, and you're not going to land in the right spot. You know what I mean? You're going to be out and you're going to lose. And you're going to lose not because you don't have the fastest, you know what I mean? Fastest. You're going to lose because so
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I get you on the frustration. So we are looking into it. Yeah. Give us some time. We will think more and how, and to be very honest, I mean,
it
we
advantages
mint a
me,
lot
but
of
I don't want
comics.
to take an advantage over anybody else. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
For sure. I'll say, and about people complaining, like you have people complaining everywhere where there's things that are in demand. These collectibles are in such high demand. I mean, you have people complaining on all the Ethereum drops. Like, anyone that sells out, people are complaining. I was a ticket broker. People were always complaining to Ticketmaster. So that's like if you don't have haters, you're not kind of popping off, kind of thing. Like if every single person that wanted one got one, sorry, Reese, I didn't mean to cut you off, but if
You're
every
right.
single person that wanted one got one, they wouldn't be worth what they're worth.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. My only problem is I feel like I'm doing really good on these drops. It's because I went out of the way to speed up my,
Sure.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm taking advantage. And I don't like the idea of like there's another site, and I don't want to mention it, and they promote, and it's not that they take advantage of the community, but I feel like there's always an opportunity to grow, in the field that I was in. I was the best at it, but I was always trying my best. I had a boss that come around, and he would mess with me, and I'm like, Joe, what's going on? Like, I'm your best area direct. I work with apps for a little, Applebee's for a little while, for 8 years, and he's like, man, I gotta find you one little thing you do wrong, because everything else is perfect. If I don't find that one little thing, so you guys are doing everything right, but it's imperative that we always look for that better opportunity, and that's what I love about you guys, because you do it all the time. And
Yeah. We
hats off to
do
that.
really listen. Yeah, we do listen to the fans and the pros and cons, and we'll improve as we go. Yeah, I mean, we're quite excited about the rollout of the website version, so we'll have a look at that and see how that technology roll out. And I'm sure we'll always have, our user will always find a way. I mean, to be very honest, I didn't even know you could own two of the comic. Then I realized Dan told me one day, he goes, oh, you can skip, once you get the delivery truck, you can quickly go out and buy another one. I was always waiting for the delivery truck to go, yep, you got it. And, I didn't know that. I mean, our fans are just out there trying new things. And,
You do it way faster than that, too.
Oh yeah, there's tricks.
Yeah.
There's loads of videos out there, David.
What shares on
Yeah.
these
Tips
are
and tricks.
helpful.
I had a question for David quickly about the artist.
Yes.
I just wanted to say congratulations on all this success so far, guys. You're doing a really great job. I was curious because I know that you said earlier that you do have to explain sometimes to the bigger licensing companies that making room for artists and stuff like that. So I was wondering if you guys have a bit of a schedule for artists, or what does the process look like for you introducing new artists onto the platform? Because I know that there must be I know, David, you are deeply connected to many great artists, and I'm just wondering, like, how much are you pushing to get those artists onto the app? And I guess also alongside that, are you guys being conscious of appealing to the other type of NFT collectors that are not currently on VeVe, that I guess trade more or collect more on like OpenSea, and the new artists and projects that you bring on that are not big licensed IPs? Are you considering that?
Yeah. So great question. So the DCon will be one of our first big move onboarding few independent artists on under one umbrella. So it's not like every artist will get a store like Jermaine or Frank or Ron. So they'd be under one umbrella, and which also means that we're not pressured to be bringing out continuous series. It will be more event driven basis. That's one. We do have an artist alley program which we're opening once the website is up. We kind of already have selected the first batch of these artists who we will be looking to onboard as a trial. Remember, when we bring people on board, it's not really just about the content of what they draw or anything. It's all about the logistically afterwards, how we do the payment out to the artists on their earnings and KYC, AML, all the regulatory requirement. And then once we get all the standard operating procedures all done out of the way, we will then look at bringing in and opening submission on our website to onboard future artists or independent. In regards to attracting the other NFT type of collectors who's out there, and there's possibly millions out there. Right now, what VeVe wants to do is really stay quite true to our collectibles and how we've been releasing them. We found a niche market and something that we're good at doing, and we found a bit of fandom in the area we're doing, and we know there's a lot of improvement we need to do better. Myself and Dan we quite really look at other projects, how well they're doing, and try to copy other people. We tend to have what's in our roadmap, and we stick with our roadmap, and we roll them out. So number one is getting all that done, the website version. Many of you know that we are moving into a layer 2 situation. We'll start opening some of these NFT to be interoperable to selective marketplaces, and selected IP will go out, or artists' individual talents work will go out. We tend to like to test things before we just run with it, because we know this is still very new. So and VeVe's always about the more of a mass market. Someone can download the app and get it going straight away. And the OpenSea site is very crypto. And we know the element of crypto is quite important, and that audience that's important. We just want to make sure we balance it well first.
That makes sense. And just a quick follow up to the layer 2 with the mutable. I know there's a lot of talk and speculation about which artists will or may go, or IPs that will go into OpenSea. I was wondering if you guys are being conscious of how many will, and when they do, are you conscious that could potentially create a big sell-off of other NFTs into the specific ones that are going onto immutable first?
I don't actually think this. So couple things. I know there's speculation. People think, oh wow, once they open, people will dump it. I don't think number one is true because you're really getting a new type of audience. Like you say, the one that we open up to, there'd be another whole lot of millions of other fans out there who collect the artwork because they are NFT and they are the true interruptible. So you're going to get more buyers or more collectors out there in that. Um, the the sell off is really um, it's really about supply and demand. I mean, we don't control it internally. We don't have a buy war buying collectibles and resell it, bet against our own collectors. We don't do that as a company. So naturally, it will find its new floor price. We're quite bullish. I mean, some of these early NFTs, going out will be. I believe it will be very, very popular. And in regards to how many artists and how much we're bringing out, we definitely will be controlling that and we'll be announcing that. And we are in contact with the brands and the talent, the license we have to walk them through. But it will be a very experimental thing to start with. It's not going to be everything because everyone is still not 100% sure what's it going to look like. So we'll only time can really tell how it will be. But I do believe that we will have a new wave of new fandoms once some of these do go out and be interruptible with other platforms.
Hi, this
Awesome. Thank you
yeah
so much.
from
Hey, so I don't want to step out of line or anything, but I would love. I kind of just walked into the room. Hi, it's Jason from GABA. I would love some more information on the drop tomorrow. And then Frank, I wanted to congratulate you on the drop tomorrow, and would love it if you could tell us a little bit about what's actually happening with that. I love hearing all this wonderful, amazing stuff of VeVe and how it's progressing in the future, but I would also just love to hear a little bit about the drop, if that's possible. And if not right now, in the next little bit, if it is possible. So thank you guys. That's all for me.
No worries. Yeah, it was covered a little earlier, but I'm sure that Mr. Kozik won't have any issues going back through those. I might just take this opportunity to skip out, guys. My dinner's about ready, so big thanks for everybody for showing up, and thanks to you guys for putting this room on. Big thanks to everybody in the community who always turns out for these events, and just for me, good luck. Good luck
Thank you
tomorrow.
so
But,
much,
Thank you
Reese.
for all
You're
your
the
hard
man. Thank
work,
you so
Reese.
much for
You the
helping
man.
set these up.
appreciate it, guys. We will
Hey,
catch up soon.
Take it
from
I got to bail too, everybody.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it. This has been amazing. Frank,
Alex,
you're a
you the
legend.
man, bro.
All the artists, I love you guys.
Thank you,
Thank you, David.
Alex.
Thank you.
See ya. Is Kozik still available?
Kozik is still
actually,
Yeah, I'm
here.
here.
I
So
would love to
I'll run
actually
this room
just
Kozik is
until
following up
king.
Frank
on
leaves.
what Cliff
Frank,
So
said.
tell
I'll
us
All right,
reset
about
the
your
room.
drop,
everybody
man.
calm down for a second. Everybody calm down for a sec.
Let
It was just
Frank reset.
let's not talk over each other.
I'll reset the
We'll
room.
do a quick reset. We're here with Kozik, Frank Kozik, who has his Labbit Series 2 drop tomorrow. Series 1 was a giant success. I actually said this, Frank, before you came in the room, but if you bought all 6 of your original Labbits at retail, it was 190 gems, and today it's 5,300 to complete the set. So,
Amazing. Amazing.
amazing for sure. So that's dropping tomorrow. We're here with David Yu, one of the co-founders of VeVe. He's been so generous with his time, and we always really, really appreciate him in these rooms. I know the community appreciates it. Reese and Alex from the team were here, just left. We've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Like Frank said, I'm not going anywhere either. So I'm here. I'm happy to be here and answer questions. We have a lot of distinguished guests up on stage. Jermaine Rogers is right under me, who has also had an amazing drop on VeVe. I guess that was probably 6 or 8 weeks ago at this point. I'm having a hard time keeping track of the weeks, but lots of great people in this room. So I'm going to let it keep going. Let's not try and talk over each other, but we definitely want to let everyone that wants to ask questions ask questions.
Okay.
I got a quick question. Hey, Keen, are we aware how much these are going to be this time, and is it a blind drop?
Yes, it's not a blind drop. You're going to get to choose the common. It's the same prices. It looks like the commons are 25. The uncommon is 30. The rares are 35. and the white backstab, which is the ultra rare, is a super bargain at $40. There's only 888 of them. I mean, that's gonna. Who knows what it'll end up going for when the market starts, but I'm sure it'll be at least $1,000. And then there's actually a secret rare that's going to be given out, and there's 3,333 of them. You can't buy them. There was something that happened a couple months ago that you had to be part of. That that's how those people are getting them. So that's what's coming tomorrow. It's all a bargain. It's really exciting. They're gonna sell out very fast. The way VeVe's been going, everything's been doing so well. David, congratulations! I was actually telling Reese on the success with the comics. I mean, those have all done so well, and they've been such a huge success. Did you expect to be dropping so many so fast as this successful, or did you guys drop more as it just blew up like that?
No, the comics already been prepared. We as a company, we are now more in line with our calendar releases, so we do have a schedule. The whole idea of the comic was to have inventory. So when you come into the app, you could scroll down and you could buy one of the 30,000 or 60,000, and there's always going to be inventory there. To be very honest, we had zero idea that it will sell out in 0.5 of a second. Yeah, I mean, you guys know how comic book work, right? You go to a retail shop, they will always have a shop. They will always have comic in the retail store. Right now, we don't have any. It's kind of embarrassing, but the secondary market provides a very good platform for people to buy and sell edition numbers in their rarity. So we were totally blown away with the anticipation of it. And I think when we added the AR element into it, there was a huge uptake again. So we're already there was a lot of people in, Comic Collector came in, and now the comic reader came in, the AR reader came in. It just went from one level to another.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everyone. And it is a very, very cheap product. It's $6.99. I mean, we could have put it up the super rare as $80, but we don't, because we want everyone to have a chance of getting something that they don't know they're going to get. And with Frank's release this week, once again, you talked about how much they were and how much they're going to be. Our job is not really to play in the after sale market or try to go, well, look, secret rare is selling for 500. Maybe we should sell the secret rare for 99. Our job is to make sure that the pieces go out what the true value they are, and organically the pricing the secondary market will determine themselves. But I'm not sure, Frank, you covered it. The Rainbow Rabbit going out. It's going to be animated. It's the rainbow is basically is running, like it's the color will be moving in it, so it's going to be quite cool. It's one of our first one that with Frank that is animated.
Oh wow, the common rainbow, the common labicorn is animated.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. There will be a bit of an animated feature in that one, so it's going to be cool.
I have 2 4-year-old girls, and they are gonna love that thing. They're gonna love it.
Frank. Hello.
We got you, man. What's up, bud?
Okay, cool. Hey, Frank, man, I was introduced to your work from a friend of mine. He ran a toy store here in Dallas called Atoma. And one of the things they would have there was the Dunnies and the Labbits, and they would be blank, and people would like make their own interpretation of it, and they would have like a contest. Do you see yourself putting out something like that? Because I know with a lot of other licenses, they're not going to let you tamper with certain stuff like that. But
oh yeah, I mean, I run Kid Robot, so At some point, I will do blank labbits. Not anytime soon because vinyl manufacturing is all upside down right now with what's going on with shipping and stuff like that. But what
Right.
I think would be interesting, David, if you're listening, is down the road the possibility of selling just a labbit as a blank labbit on VeVe with the ability
Right.
to draw on it with your finger on your phone and sort of decorate your own labbit and do
Oh,
your
that
Yeah.
would
own
be,
DIY labbit. That would be
yeah,
super
yeah.
amazing, I think.
And I was looking because the first time I heard about a blind box or a blind package was through the things that you did, and when you put them out in the packages, you didn't know what you got until you opened it
Right.
up.
Yep.
So
I mean,
I
I
have a
also
bunch of
foresee
those.
at some point we might do a digital equivalent of the blind box drops. That's entirely up to VeVe, but I could see that happening.
Oh,
If I'm all so basically, these are questions for David. If he wants to do it, I'm 100% on board. I've already pestered him with 1,000 requests, so I don't want to add any more.
and and with I know you say you was doing Kid Robot. Um, does Dunny fall under Kid Robot?
Yeah, it's a IP is owned by the company. It was originally created by a really great artist called Tristan Eaton, who's
Right.
actually having a huge retrospective show right now down in I think it's in Long Beach or Huntington Beach at the museum down there. And the Dunny is the main core IP of Kid Robot.
Right. So
But Kid Robot is a completely separate company than VeVe. It's
well,
a physical toy company.
I know you
Yeah,
say you
it's
was
at the
over.
Long Beach Museum of Art, Frank. It's running
I
for a
know
little
you
bit
say
longer
you.
at the Long.
I know you say you was running the say a Kid Robot on the front end. Is that something you would try to bring over to VeVe?
I'm not the owner. What I do is I oversee all the physical products that are produced by Kid Robot. I have a design team that I run that does all the Kid Robot stuff, Kid Robot e-commerce. We also design most of the Loot Crate stuff these days and all that kind of stuff. That's just kind of like a contract I have to run that company. That's kind of like my day job, and like my art and NFT stuff is like my second day job. So I have two full-time gigs I'm doing these days.
I got one more question. This is for David or you, Cozy. When I take my Labbits over to OpenSea, are they going to be branded as VeVe, or is there going to be any way to like distinguish VeVe exclusive NFTs other places, or are they just going to be out and about?
No, the metadata will be VeVe for sure going over. So we definitely need a way for people to understand what VeVe collectible are, because they need to be able to come backwards compatible, so you get that AR and bring it alive. So yeah, that will be clearly labeled in the metadata side, so it would distinguish very clear what it is.
Okay, yeah, because and Jermaine and Kozik, I have a collaboration that you guys did together. I already know, I'm saying, something David and them, but man, if y'all could drop a collaboration, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, as where we come in, we're definitely going to be experimenting new things, in both technology and collabs, which I think I mentioned a bit early on, and we'll start to see them in the near future.
Okay, and thank you. And the visible labbit, I keep finding new details in the visible labbit. It is that those pieces are phenomenal. When I put them in AI, I
That
see
comes
it.
apart, and you can move the plush parts around and reconfigure them and put it back together.
Right. And when I seen, I was looking, I was like, is this like it's a gene material? Then I'm looking at the intestine tract. It's like the bunny swallowed cigarettes. So it's got cigarettes in I like that piece. That's like my favorite labbit.
Thanks a lot, man.
But I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys later.
Right on. Thanks for coming by.
Hello, everyone, to the VeVe team. I want to congratulate you on the great job you're doing. I have a little bit of a strategic question that I wanted to ask you, if it's possible.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So I've been following VeVe for so long. I'm in an academy and I learned about VeVe and I joined it and I'm so excited about VeVe. So I've been introduced it to a lot of people. But I'm in business, and in business I usually always have a few questions because a lot of people got into business in the companies and they fail because of a few things that usually go wrong. And my question to VeVe team is I wanted to know what is the primary aim, the strategic objective, and the systematic development process of VeVe. I mean, just for the future. And as a community, you know, as in this collectible world, it's about community, and the community is what will make VeVe great. So, but the most important thing is that a lot of people are not informed; they're not educated about what's going on in the VeVe community. So, do you guys have an education aspect of VeVe that can help the community be able to follow and also educate those that they're calling into VeVe? So, like that, the message will stay the same, the process will stay the same. So people will not stop talking about bots and all of that. And I know for much of that, there's no bots, but it's just the community is getting bigger. And when business get bigger, a lot of things tend to be a lot harder. So
Yeah,
that
thank
was my
you.
question.
Yeah, so number one is just going back. It is our business plan is very simple. It's about we're in the business of fandom. We want to bring fans together and really connect them with brands and things that's relevant to them as a collectibles and so on. Now, that's number one. Number two is education is extremely important. I mean, I came from a very physical collectible industry. I own a chain of retail shop in New Zealand, also up in Asia. So my my experience last 25 years in the trading card business, on the tabletop Warhammer, in the role playing books, in Dungeons and Dragons. All these is about cultivating community and fandoms and education. I mean, when I started trading card business, no one knew what it was about. There was fake cards coming in. There was all sorts of things. So right now, because the digital commerce that we in, our education is going to be through our social media. And I think we do put out a lot of these information as much as we can to our audience and our supporter. And where we're going to be growing next is how we duplicate these pots of moderators into different parts of the world community. So we can have a 24 hours, 7 days a week of people in the support to help. We are still in the very early stage. We consider ourselves as still a startup company with a very limited resource, and every member in our company wears multiple heads and do multiple tasks. And we will need you guys to help us and your support and your word, and also educating and bringing new people in and teaching them how to do it. And we're just overwhelmed with the early and community support on it. So, do give us a little bit more time and all these things that will be coming out. I mean, we're learning a lot of these things ourselves through experience as well.
Thank you. Do you guys have a channel through which we can just bring us you guys some important questions and important things that we think that can be incorporated into VeVe just for the education of the
Yeah.
community, for the security of everyone, and also because we want VeVe to be there for years and years and years and years. So we would like to bring our contribution to the community.
Thank you. Yeah, our Telegram is pretty active. So the Telegram channels are very good. We have Discords. Those are our primary driver. And if you need to find out where they are, you can always visit VeVe.me and it will navigate you to the right places. And our mod, and I think Reese, Alex, Noah, our team will basically put you into the right areas. A lot of the stuff that questions, some of them can be self-answered and on our website as well if you need help on it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, hello. I'm listening from Malaysia.
Hi there.
Okay. Would there be any plan in the future that there will be advertisement page on VeVe apps, which allow the users to engage to the advertisement at the same time to generate revenue for VeVe? So at the same time, probably the revenue, like 10%, will distributed to the users, like OMI tokens, or sent to Burn Wallet, and so on.
Yeah, at this stage, we haven't had that planned out. And I mean, that is something we need to probably bring up in another conversation and that on ideas and that. So I couldn't comment too much more. That will be definitely a bit further down the track.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Right.
Can I
Hey
ask Frank a
David,
question?
this is Finn. I'm a big, I'm new to VV. I have other collectibles like Beck Dogs and Bastard Penguins, and I really like Frank's work. And one thing about this space is like I noticed it's very like artist driven, and I was curious if like you guys have considered like having like artist recommendations. Like Frank can list like his 5 favorite products, and obviously it would be within the VV ecosystem, so you wouldn't have to worry about like random like stuff. But anyway, I just thought that would be kind of cool if we knew like the cool stuff like Frank liked, so maybe we'd collect the same things as Kozik.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, some of the artists that Frank mentioned is definitely on our radar. I mean, obviously, um, we mentioned. I think Decon will be one of the first time that we'll be bringing out additional artists all under Decon, and we just want to see how that goes first. We also do want to keep the app a bit more tidier, just segregating, ensuring that people can navigate it throughout well. Because you guys can see more and more brands will be coming out and will be onboarding. So we want to ensure that these categories don't get lost, especially with comic. You saw the comic bar, you drops down, you select comic, you're in the whole entire comic section. And there's a lot of these we still need to tidy up because there's people jump on VeVe doesn't even know comics there, but they see all the posts. So internally we are looking at new way how we can re-engineer. And going back to the artists that we have on board, these are artists I personally love and have a friendship with, and I don't just own a VeVe collectible of these artists. I've been collecting their work for many years, and I sell Frank's product in my retail shop since I think 2003 or four. From the Levitt series, and I collected some of the old vintage poster print of Frank's or bring it on. Same as Ron, Jermaine's work has been sold in my shop. On some of the choice rabbits and so on. And you'll see more and more on our platform. We are very selective who we bring on because we want to ensure that we keep the integrity of bringing. I'm not saying if any artist is greater than the other. We just want to be bringing great experience for our fans.
Hi, David. I think I maybe misspoke. I was asking like for instance, like if an artist can recommend other collectibles that are already on VV. So not
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if he had like under his profile like a list of like top 3 other collectibles, or you did, or other artists. That's all I meant. Like
Oh
already
yeah. Yeah.
within the eco. Sorry, I wasn't trying to suggest bringing on new artists. I just meant like within your ecosystem, because like that's how like people collect. Like it's cool. Like if we know
Yeah.
like similar like items.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Frank's collects Jermaine's. I'm not sure if Jermaine you collect some of Ron or Frank's. I'm pretty sure that the community is all pretty supportive of each other here.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll probably take about 3 or 4 more questions from my side because I do have a 4 p.m. Meeting coming up. So if anyone want to ask me anything in regards to VeVe, I'm happy to answer them, and then I'll leave the floor to Frank.
Hi, David.
Hey, David, I got a quick question for you, if it's okay. I've been dying to ask this question for a long time, and a lot of the collectibles on VeVe are pretty close to their physical counterparts as one to one, but there's one in particular that now that Marvel has been announced that is that's missing a little something, and I was wondering if the Ultraman 2D posters will eventually be updated to get the Marvel logo added to them.
Yeah, so I probably get more private message about that than anything else. So, yeah, I mean, it's possible we will request, with permission. We'll wait and see. And definitely, if we do announce anything, we'll let everyone know in our Medium article coming out. But it is something we knew from day one. So we're very aware of it, and community's always been talking about it. So, we'll put some news out if that does happen.
Hey, David.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Before
Really
you head out,
appreciate it.
can I get a question?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to congratulate Frank on his success and his drops. For a question for you, David, that's been carried over from a couple AMAs that I've been trying to get to Dan. From your release announcement of the, not official announcement, but your anticipation of the metaverse with all these other metaverses being announced from other companies, I won't mention any names, but do you see, as part of your rollout plan, do you see it extremely important to be first to the game, or do you see that you are unique enough in this space to where being first is not essential to the success of the metaverse?
Yeah, and that's a great question. The metaverse that we'll be bringing out will be part and partial progress. With VeVe app is slightly different, where me and Dan kind of wanted to be 70% exactly how it should be when we launch it. But with the metaverse, we are going to be bringing out in stages, and I think Dan covered it in his last AMA about how we will be rolling out, and it will be really a true representation to your showroom, and that aspect of it. Now, our metaverse are very different than what other players and people in the industry are doing. So you guys understand, it's not really a metaverse there as just a social. It's got many parts into it. It's really about community building and having these beautiful works you see on Frank's to be part of that life in that metaverse. And that's what we're doing. And we never really even think we were the first into NFT. I mean, CryptoKitty was there first into the NFT. There's other project out there. The birth was much earlier than we are. We kind of have our own way of thinking what we felt it would be right for our IP owners to be part of that metaverse. So, and we don't actually think it's a winner take all industry in the metaverse. I think it's really just another way to communicate and channel your fans into.
I do have That's great. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I do have one question about the Master Collector program. I guess just wanted to simply ask, when do you guys release the article that details all of that? Would that mean that you guys have a set date when those or when the program will be implemented, or perhaps will it be implemented along with the article? Thank you.
We probably will start putting out teasers out there, and then we will get feedback from the community, and then we will. We always listen. That's the thing. That's why it takes a bit longer. We don't go out and go, what we think this is the perfect way. We listen, and we will alter and we'll change a little bit, and then we'll start building that in the back end. Then myself and Daniel, we we talk about it. I think this Tuesday just went past by. We had a 3-hour brain session on this master collector program, and we're nearly there. We're going to be rolling it out or announcing that in the near future. But definitely, there's other more pressing points that we need to get attend to ahead of this announcement. Anyway,
That's fair. Makes sense.
Hey, good evening, David, and everybody on stage. Got a good question for you, David. First, I want to say thank you for chilling with us, common folks, this evening. It means a lot. But my question is related to the VeVeVerse, right? There's a number of NFT projects that will be adding AI to their projects. My question is, in the VeVeVerse, is adding AI and possibly using them as avatars amongst perfect announcement is what Twitter is doing, what Snapchat is doing. Does VeVe plan on moving into that space?
yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to have avatar, but that avatar will be your true representation of yourself as an avatar. You know, you'll be controlling this character in the metaverse. So when you talked about AI, I guess you're talking about if we're going to have any NPCs in there, like, just characters walking around. We haven't decided that yet for sure, but the rollout 101 will be our community is the most important to be in there and interacting as themselves.
Awesome, and thank you for that. Last thing is with OpenSea. Like, David, I appreciate you being humble, but please know that you're a behemoth in this game, man. So, does VeVe or can you like go to OpenSea and try to do a policy change? Because the last thing I want to see that happens to somebody is a new user gets introduced to VeVe through OpenSea and they buy a fake product. Like, is there a way where you can like try to speak to somebody at OpenSea? You guys have a meeting and get that blue check for
Yeah,
when VeVe gets listed?
yeah, that you're totally right, and this is one of the reasons why some of these IP owners having issues is that you kind of already and I need to say, I mean, Dan brought to my this morning there was some OpenSea James Bond posters out there, and they're not authorized one. We don't know how they even got it on there. So we'll be contacting OpenSea about it. I'm sure the studio will be writing a letter out. It's not authorized copyright. And same thing with Frank's work. You want to make sure there's not going to be another Frank Kozak with a different spelling on it on OpenSea. So we'll definitely be writing to them to make sure that there will be some sort of marking on it to ensure that it's a verified collectible from our end. But I do believe when I was speaking to Dan that you will be able to check the addresses in the Explorer to see if it's our NFT before you purchase it. And once again, you need to have a lot of education. Just simply sometimes it's hard to navigate through OpenSea and to check on all that. We will reach out, and that you do raise a very very good question, and that's the main some of these issues that the major licensed brand will have about what's genuine and what's not.
Okay, awesome. Well, as a community, we're going to do our part, David. You continue to do yours. Thank you, sir, and have a great weekend.
Oh, thanks, Brian.
I will say about OpenSea, you make a very good point. That is a problem on OpenSea with every single popular project. VeVe will have their own collection, and I assume it will get a blue check mark because it's going to be so popular. And getting those fake ones removed, like David said, is a process. They don't have a great single person to reach out to. You have to kind of go through the back channels and get to them, and they remove it kind of at their time. Sometimes they're quick, sometimes it takes a little bit, but hopefully with VeVe there'll be pretty diligent in that, and I know that the company of VeVe will be watching. So,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know, yeah, go ahead, man. I mean, that's a problem that every single project deals with, every single one. But go ahead, David. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, at all. I appreciate everyone's concern. Yeah, we'll definitely have more ticks and policies. Ensure that we look after our collectors out there.
Hi, just a background of a little bit where I'm coming from. I'm John from Discord. So the first time I really got exposed to the whole like social connection to NFTs was really through VeVe. So I really, really appreciate the community we have on Discord. There was something that Frank said before about his Labbits and what he would like to see as a possibility, which is that the Labbits might have some kind of like audio integration. It would be great, for instance, if this series coming out tomorrow, one of the Labbits said red rum or the backstab rabbit said ouch or ow or whatever, that would be amazing. And I know that Marvel's premium collections, I think Spidey, the SR, it made that thwip sound, and Cap had like the bullet sound and all that. So I know that the integration is currently possible with the animation. Is that something that we can look forward to in future series of Labbits, since it was kind of put out there in this really amazing talk that we're having? And then second of all, seeing the integration already coming into play, I know we already have collectibles, and then now we moved into comics. I'm pretty sure the third one might be cards. But have we thought in terms of a very, very large community that loves to collect? Speaking again of Frank and his background in punk rock, have we thought of tapping into the music community in a way, especially when VeVeVerse comes and we're walking around with our avatars and we want to walk into a virtual club, pick up a virtual guitar and, just go at it. It would just, or look at somebody's record collection and be able to play that record that has this amazing artwork on it. I'm just kind of spitballing at this point, but just looking at.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Yeah, to your first question on upgrading the collectible to sound animation, we have seen that already being done, and we are always constantly selecting collectibles will be upgraded as time goes. In fact, we have already in the pipeline, a lot of the collectible that will come alive in different way, whether it's animated or sound. That's definitely always possible, and Labbit will definitely be some of those. So tomorrow, I think I mentioned earlier, you will see some animation on the commons that's coming out. So we know that's going to be very sought after. So we make sure that everyone who wants one have a chance getting that. And to your number two question, we have seen the comic come in. I mean, the artist alley is a big thing that we want to do. I think Dan touched on a little bit about sports the other day. And you've seen the vehicle is always in our pipeline. We have the glider, even though it's not a vehicle as such, but all these machines, DeLoreans, another one that we done, the Ectomobile, and we will be bringing out more and more vehicle range. We there's the car collectors are huge. There's a big business out there. There's a lot of fans who love these classic stuff. But in regards to music, you will see a lot more possibly in the VeVeVerse with music. We envision that you will be able to see a solid NFT exhibition of Frank or Jermaine's work in the VeVeVerse, where we will have whole art galleries, and then we'll have concert halls where possibly the artists they're playing live concert in animation or through our screen panel. So definitely out there. But talking about purchasing collectible guitars, instruments, and play, 100% possible. we just want to make sure that we build that universe slowly and ensuring that our rollout is not number one overwhelmed with our tech resource. There will be few major things that we need to implement first before all these other rollout comes in. But idea is that we will want to make that metaverse world as true to as far as you are with VeVe right now.
Really appreciate the answer. Thank you so much.
I have one
All right.
question. I
I
don't
might
see
take the last one because I got a couple more minutes to go.
I don't see the ribbon on the collections that are completed anymore under the main page. Was that on purpose?
You mean when you finish a whole set, you get a little ribbon?
Yes, it's not there anymore.
Okay. Which collection were you looking at? Oh, that's on everything.
All my collections.
Okay. I'll bring it up. Yeah. Well, I'll bring it up with the team to see if there was some databasing or something happen.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Kozik, you're amazing. I got one question for you. I know you do like a lot of poster art. What's your favorite poster you ever did? You have to have a.
Let me think about this for a second.
Because
Take
if
your
you ever
time to think.
release
I'm
them,
gonna
it's the
say
one I
goodbye to
want.
David while you're
Let me
thinking
think about it.
because he wants to get going and it's been almost 3 hours since you've been in this room, David.
Probably my favorite poster I've ever done is probably a big Killdozer silk screen where I did the Pigums really big on it, and that's one of my favorites. And I'm really fond of my 9 Inch Nails poster from a
I
long
have
time.
your 9 Inch Nails poster.
Yeah, I was really happy with that poster.
Awesome, good answer.
Fantastic.
I just want to reset the room. Thank you everybody for coming. I've got Labbits to drop tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning. I hope everybody best of luck in acquiring what they want. And I'm here for a while answering your questions, whatever you guys want to do. I'm good.
Hey, thanks, Frank. For being part of what we're doing, and I'm extremely excited that we come together and finalize this series 2. And there will be a lot of lucky fans out there. Will get their secret rare dropped to them hopefully this weekend. And good luck, everyone. I'm definitely going to be staying up to get one or two if I have fast fingers and my internet connection. But thanks for everything again, and really good to see. And the last 3 hours to answer as many